man, if we're all righty, then who's gonna be the lefty?
Well, certainly not me.
Let's
I mean, basically, you're not taking my glorious brain out and replacing it with a bit of cauliflower. Cauliflower and broccoli, that sounds good.
Eh, why not? Okay. Let's see. There we go. Anyways, hello everyone. Welcome back to PowerWash Simulator. Last time, we took care of a plane, the mayor's boat, as he was planning on dipping town for some strange reason. And and the cutest monster truck I ever seen.
Yep.
And yes, you're not seeing things. You see the number of white the amount of white compared to blue in that wheel. We are almost done.
We're basically just 3/4 of the way there.
Yep. And as always, I am joined in by the eccentric Mr. House, my washer in crime.
Yellow.
And of course, the always fearsome Linkzilla, our master of pop culture.
Hey everybody.
And oh boy, the internet's going a little crazy over the last couple days.
When is it not, honestly?
Yeah. But hey, the world's a carnival and we're bringing the Ferris wheel.
Yep.
I couldn't resist because I remember exactly what we're cleaning next. Over at the Buckingham Recreation Ground. Let's see here. Bree Strobe. Allow me to introduce Transmaster, the world's first techno Ferris wheel. We're going to be powering it with our epic 10,000 watt generator that we had in the garage from the old raid days. And it will sync up to change tempo with every banging tune. It's going to be mega. Whether the break beats kick in, it'll go absolutely bananas. Got the old generator hooked up currently, so feel free to turn it off if you need a bit of rotation action. We'll hook up the rate generator once you're done.
I really hope that this is safe.
That sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Basically, yeah.
So, yeah, let's get this thing started. But anyways, speaking of a frickin' circus, has anyone been on Twitter recently? Or should I say X recently?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the big topic today. Elon Musk has already started a rebranding of Twitter, and I'm not happy with it.
Because now the blue bird is missing.
It just doesn't feel right. Alrighty, just gonna turn on the co-op. So yeah, with this being an $800 job, we got a lot of work to do. Which, to me, it actually came out in a way out of nowhere. Sure, there was like word about it for a couple of days beforehand, but now it happened yesterday, and I feel like that one John Travolta gif where he's looking around all confused in Pulp Fiction. There we go. Yeah, sorry if it looked like you were pink for a couple of seconds there. It happens every time when you're loading in.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, someone's already got some graffiti work. The clowns. Alright, Bree says, mate, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to sort out some heaving motivational tunes for you, but the rave generator's playing up. Good. I'd rather not have this thing go crazy yet. So, yeah. So, yeah, what is basically your guys' opinions on this whole crazy rebranding situation?
I'll let Chaos go first.
I think the X is not exactly the most inventive thing in the world. If he wanted to rebrand, I feel like he should have at least kept with something a little bit more familiar than going for a letter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn down the water volumes a little bit. Let's see here. There we go, that's a little better. Yeah, because in all honesty, it's boring. And I've been looking on Twitter recently. Yes, I'm still gonna call it Twitter. Don't at me.
I have a feeling that most people will.
Well, that's their opinion, not mine. Anyways, that the fans of Organization 13 in Kingdom Hearts is already going nuts about it.
Basically, they should just start calling it recusant.
Yeah.
Or maybe Key. Yeah, we need to basically send out our tweets on Key. Or
No. What we gotta do is just come up with variations of Twitter, but we have the X in there.
People have tried doing that.
Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, apparently there's this special, like...
Twitter's nobody.
There's this Organization 13 name generator, and someone attempted to do that, but it wasn't having it.
Oh man, I bet it was like one of those F this I'm out.
There we go.
Literally, we need a better generator if I can't do Twitter.
Yep.
I mean, come on. Come on, Sora is just 4 letters, and they make Roxas out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think that basically like goes to show that there are just certain letters of the alphabet that just cannot belong in the same word together. And I think that X and W are 2 of them.
Yeah. Unless if it's the Twix bar, I like those. I like that chocolate.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about Twix.
Yeah,
What's
cookie.
Twix?
It's
a candy bar.
It's a candy bar where it's basically like 2 fingers of cookie bars with a good layer of caramel on top, all covered in milk chocolate. It's very good.
Anything else?
Nope, that's
Caramel.
it. Unless you go for one of the specially flavored ones. It's a
Yeah.
simple yet delicious candy bar.
Yeah. I don't think I've tried it. I'm more of a classic Hershey bar person myself.
Well, if you do try it, you're in for a satisfying crunch.
Oh yeah. And thankfully you could get them on the cheap out here,
Yeah, we'll
depending
see.
on the size.
Yeah, we'll see. Especially when I end up in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Going to
Yeah.
Canada.
Yep.
He's coming to visit me.
Awesome. What are you guys gonna do?
Hang out, play games. There really isn't much
Bowling.
going. Yeah, I'll probably do some bowling since there's a bowling alley near my place.
Well, Chaos, be sure to bring your PS4 along with you. That way you guys can actually play Final Fantasy 14 in the same room together.
I think I would need
Unfortunately,
another
we're
TV.
gonna need another cable to hook it up because the router's very picky with most game consoles.
Yeah. I think in regards to console bringing, I'm just going to go for the Switch. Mainly
Yeah.
because it'll be a little bit easier, and that way I can just use my controllers. We can play some local co-op games.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, like Kirby. Like
Kirby.
Yeah. But so there's a certain Kirby game with a Wolfie that she likes.
Yeah, screw it. When I get with some of the leftover cash I'm going to be getting from like paying off my rent and everything, I'm going to get myself another game.
Yep. And actually, when I do show up, come a few weeks from now, I'm also gonna bring with me the plushie of of her favorite monster from Monster Hunter, the Kitsune.
Yeah.
That thing has been a long time coming.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, let's see.
It'll certainly be interesting because then I get to also see the Raichu plush I also sent you all that time ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, there's a ladder here?
Yeah, there's a ladder next to the scaffolding over there. Aha, there we go, got it.
Here we go. Not that I need the ladder. I am a parkour master.
Yeah! But we're definitely gonna need the scaffolding to get
Oh god.
on this thing.
Ah! Not again. Well,
What?
I'm just gonna accept my fate.
Where'd you go?
Look at the Ferris wheel.
Oh! There you are! Well...
Yes, this is no time for a leisurely
Oh god!
ride.
I saw that!
Well, made it.
Want me to turn it off so you can clean it up more?
No, it's funner this way.
Okay. I guess I'll just stick to terra firma right now.
To quote one of the greatest spies the world has ever known, I too like to live dangerously.
But yeah. But I just remembered something. Go back to X. Apparently, he was also supposed to be like doing some MMA fighting with the owner of Facebook.
Yep.
But he backed out at the last second.
Wait, Elon backed out? That doesn't
Yep.
sound like him.
Well, apparently he did, according to some of our friends.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I honestly think that Zuckerberg is afraid of him breaking his plastic face and revealing the mechanical machinery underneath.
Yeah, I swear that dude is like a robot.
We're not sure exactly what he is. Robot, lizard. We just know that we're just 80% sure that he's not human.
Yep.
But anyway, about the whole Twitter rebrand to X thing. I ultimately agree with you guys that calling it X is just, well, it's kind of boring. And, well, there's some sneaking suspicion as to Elon's motives doing all this. Some people are saying that this is basically for nefarious purposes. Some people are basically saying that this is just Elon flexing his ego, basically like completely changing something to how basically like to reflect him. But here's sort of my take on it.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, and this might be a bit of an out there take, sort of, but I honestly think that what Elon is thinking of, because I don't think that there's anything nefarious going on here. I don't think that it's necessarily smart, but I'm trying to get into his head, thinking that he's thinking that this might be something that he has to do instead of something that he ultimately wants to do, because when you actually get out into it, if you get out of the echo chamber, you basically realize that over the years, Twitter's reputation has sunk so badly that Twitter basically is not thought of or spoken of fondly in conversation. Basically, in the outside world, Twitter has pretty much become synonymous with toxicity. So, that's why a lot of people were excited when Elon Musk bought the platform and got rid of all the people who were literally driving it into the ground. So, I'm thinking that the reason that Elon is rebranding it as X is because he thinks that he needs to rebrand the entire thing in order to basically give it a fresh start. Like, the days of Twitter being toxic are completely over. This is a brand new platform. It's being reincarnated. It's X. It's going to be something that we're not going to it's not going to be associated with all that yuckiness that came before. So I'm thinking that maybe that's what Elon's got in his brain. He's trying to basically distance himself as much as possible from the bad old days. However, like everyone basically tends to agree, this rebranding to X is probably not going to work because it's far too simple. The idea that basically you take something... I might not basically think much of Twitter, I might not even like Twitter, but I can't deny that the idea of a name like Twitter is just so snappy, and you immediately know what it is. You hear the word Twitter, you no longer think of birds singing, you immediately think of the website, you immediately think of posting things, you think of tweets and everything. It's basically got so much of a reputation that it's kind of hard to imagine a world without it at this point. Of course,
exactly.
A lot of people can't imagine a world without Facebook, but that's honestly where we're headed. But so the point is that I honestly don't think that the transition from Twitter to X is necessarily going to be easy, and there's a very good chance that it's just not going to stick, because I guarantee you, even when it does fully be rebranded to X, people are going to keep calling it Twitter anyways, and I have a feeling that eventually somebody's going to see the writing on the wall, and it's like, look, this whole rebrand thing isn't really going to be working. Let's just go back to calling it Twitter. Like, let's not consider it a failure. Let's just consider it a learning opportunity.
Agreed.
But,
some people are still... Yeah, if I recall correctly, one of our friends in this other Pathfinder group we're part of calls it like a Sears Tower situation.
Yeah.
Oh, Bree's talking. Got an absolute perler of a track from Asterix Winks that I can't wait to hit you with.
By the way, look up.
Heck?
What
away to Cosmos when you hear this just a sec.
Float away to Cosmos. Chaos,
well, Chaos is already floating on
that.
On the Ferris wheel itself.
Oh, trust me, I'm not floating, I'm walking.
Well, either way, that's definitely one way of getting the job done. Holy crud.
Yeah, let the Ferris wheel do all the work. Just stand in one place.
I'm still going to turn it off occasionally in order to get to the finer details.
At this point, I'm just the acrobatic master of the power washing simulator world.
Yep. Soccer ball!
So what were you about to say before you got the message?
Well, I said it was basically a Sears Tower situation. You know how Sears gave up that one tower in Detroit, but people still call it the Sears Tower, even though Sears is not really much of a thing anymore.
Yep.
It's just a familiar name, and people are people are still super familiar with it when they see the building. It's the same thing with Twitter. It's going to be the same thing with Twitter. No matter how much rebranding, people are still going to call it Twitter.
Yeah, it's basically like a lot of people that want to basically embrace change and move on. They're going to quote that famous Shakespeare quote from Romeo and Juliet, what's in a name? Well, I'll tell you what's in a name. Names are actually very important. Names have a recognition, a familiarity, a branding. You can't just basically change the name of something Are
you really having fun up there? Oh my god, he's on the other one now.
I'm like
see,
Dick Grayson if he became a power washer instead of a crime fighter.
Yeah.
You see, I don't think he's actually having fun. I just think that the air quality up there is so much thinner that it's starting to go to his head.
No, he's just having fun. He is totally having fun, but hey, it gets the job done. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that is happening. But there's also the fact that apparently Elon Musk has basically come out and said that Twitter, well, X, it's not just going to be what Twitter used to be anymore, because he's now basically saying that X is going to be, quote, the everything app. And I don't exactly know what everything can encompass, and that's honestly the scary part. The fact
yeah,
that
is the scary part. If he's not being very clear about it, then I'm just gonna probably stick to like reposting everything on like I don't know, Tumblr or something.
Well, so I honestly thought that Tumblr was dead, but anyway.
No, it's alive. They just cleaned up a lot of their rules and stuff, and people are happy again.
So here's basically like the thing about it. So who knows what Twitter could end up what X could end up being? I mean, who knows? Maybe Elon is trying to parlay it into making it the next YouTube, because he's basically like already got monetization for people who post things on Twitter, and basically like you can get paid to get engaged with it. So
yeah, now that you mention that, I'm sorry for interrupting, but some people have already started making the porno jokes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the other thing that...
So, instead of being X, it's now triple X.
Yep.
Now I'm just imagining a lot of people who like never use Twitter but use certain other websites, just like hearing this, be like, oh, I got to try out this website now.
Mm-hmm.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, eh, Elon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably never thought of that, especially since some people are already making jokes that with like videos involves to a particular porno site that also uses the letter X in it.
Oh God! Now I'm just keeping that in mind, but now I'm throwing in the whole Organization 13 thing. Oh God!
Don't you dare!
Especially not with the connotations that Xehanort wants Sora's body.
I apologize to my viewers for that sort of thing.
By the way, I'm on the other side now.
Yeah, I noticed. Hey.
So, anyways, with everything that's basically going on, like, X could basically expand, be more than what Twitter used to be. But here's basically the part that's got people worried. The fact that they say that X is going to be completely run by AI. Now, I don't know about you guys if you've been paying attention, but we've seen examples of what happens when websites are run entirely by AI, and they usually don't end up well, because I'm tight.
Thank you.
Yeah, you could be doing good. You could have a video up for at least 4 years, and then suddenly the friggin' algorithm discovers it and decides, hey, you've got copyrighted material in this. Let's completely ban it worldwide after 4 years. Oh, you have over 1,000 views on it? Too bad.
That, or they allow, like, fake-o companies try to take copyright claims on music that is free to use.
Yep, yeah. I even saw a video on my YouTube home feed where somebody gets falsely copyright struck, and the copyright holders try to extort them for $10,000.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Yep.
But the system that needs heavy fine-tuning and refinement to make sure that that's A, stupidity, and B, human greed aren't weaponized, but well, not weaponized, but that it doesn't that it is weaponized by human greed.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, trust me, I've had so many times I tried to like... There was like times on my Final Fantasy streams where somebody that claimed to be from Warner taking copyright hits of songs made by Final Fantasy and Soken. Warner has nothing to do with the OSTs of Final Fantasy 14.
I think what I hate is when basically you're playing a video game and basically like the company that is associated with the movie that video game is based on copyright strikes the video, and it's like the song is literally a part of the game. It literally can't be removed.
I've already had that issue when I did my Let's Play long time ago of Lego Harry Potter.
Yep, and I had that problem when I did the Kingdom Hearts games. It's like, it's literally a part of the game. Can't you friggin' get over yourself?
Exactly. If they don't want people to stream, then they could just say no. Of course, Atlas attempted that and tried to do that, and it didn't work out either. Mostly because they were trying to stop spoilers of Persona 5.
But honestly, here's what I just don't get. The fact that basically they want people to stream their games because they realize that streaming is basically free advertisement for the game. In fact, most of my major game purchases over the last few years have been a result of watching people streaming them on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
But the idea that they think that they can also penalize the people for literally just playing the game because of the music in the game, it's ridiculous.
Exactly. On top of all, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how I got a good chunk of my purchases, by streams. Like, for example, that's how I got Persona 5 in my collection.
And I honestly think that's I think that's why you don't see gamers like Markiplier playing AAA games. They stick mostly to the indie scene.
Mm-hmm. Indies that become AAAs, of course.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, looking at you, FNAF. He still holds I still say he still rightfully earns his title of King of Five Nights at Freddy's because he did beat games.
There's no way that anybody can take it from him.
Yeah, I mean, he even beat games when there was still, like, the first level of certain games when there were still bugs.
Yep. He basically did the impossible and managed to beat the point in Sister Location where you have to stop the spring locks from firing before Scott ended up patching it and making it, well, survivable.
Uh-huh.
I mean, sure, Daco might have been the one that basically got the 120 mode on Ultimate Custom Night, but honestly, I don't think that the reward for doing that was honestly worth it in the end. So congratulations, Daco. We don't know how you did it. You did it, but for what did you gain from it?
Yeah.
I mean, Markiplier is practically synonymous with FNAF, but anyways, the point... Let me just think for a second. Honestly, it gets... I'm basically worried about, like, the whole AI thing, because it seems like they're probably just going to let the AI run loose and basically do whatever it wants, and that nobody's actually going to be monitoring it, it's going to have no oversight, and they're basically not going to pay attention to when it starts basically, like, making things a little bit of a hell for the users. So,
yeah.
Like, they should always have people that are monitoring it and paying attention. But I honestly think that that might be the worst of it, because I was listening to a podcast about this very same topic, and they kind of, I don't know, they started making leaps to conclusions I don't necessarily think that Elon Musk is necessarily involved with, and I certainly don't think that we are that quite there yet, because...
something tells me they've been, like, watching too many of those crazy horror movies.
Well, not exactly crazy horror movies. They're just worried that with how fast AI is advancing, they even mentioned it that in video games, there have actually been a bit of a paradigm shift when it comes to AI, because usually people are used to playing video games and basically like getting completely scripted responses from the NPCs when they talk to them, because
Yeah.
message.
Yep. Nope, no, not looking good for the music, mate. Good. 10,000 watts. No, the rate generators are gone. Or so sorry, mate. No skin off my nose. I mean, 10,000 watts. Yeah, that is definitely a lawsuit waiting to happen. Just keep it like this. This is how a Ferris wheel should be. Nice, calm, happy. Hey, Oz, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, so you don't need a 10,000 watt music machine in order to make a fun Ferris wheel. This is fine on its own. I should know, I like Ferris wheels.
Meanwhile, you got me on the other hand, who spends half his time flinging without parkouring the damn thing.
And me thinking about getting into the Create mod so that I can build one.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, the paradigm shift that I'm talking about, most people who are playing video games, they talk to an NPC, they pick a selection of how they can respond, and they get a scripted result. Apparently, video games are moving away from that, and video games are now implementing the microphone of your headset into gameplay, where you can actually speak into the microphone, and the NPC will respond to you by having an AI randomly generated response. Like, you basically walk up to a shopkeep in the game and say, "Hey, idiot, I want to buy this." The NPC has the chance of generating, "Who you calling an idiot?" So, they basically end up going on a yeah.
That sounds like what they were trying to do with Hey You Pikachu, but wasn't all that responsive.
Yeah. So the technology might not be there yet, but it's something that they are working on. They want to basically make the games as interactive as possible, to the point where you basically, well, here's where they go onto a tangent. The guys who were talking about this were basically worried that if video games become so sophisticated to where somebody can basically simulate an entire social scenario with non-human beings in the game, at what point does society get to the point where people are just like, you know what, I'm sick of the real world, it's just so intolerable, I want to just plug myself into this game and just basically have a life here. And I mean, I know that people already want to do that, but basically it's like, people are just worried that the games might become so sophisticated that they might end up going to that point. And it's like,
yeah,
what happens?
No. As much as I like video games, I like keeping it with something that is commonly known as the KISS system. Basically, keep it simple, stupid!
That's honestly like how I feel about certain video games, especially the lore of the FNAF franchise. Scott. But anyway, so yeah, and like they even basically talked about like say you're basically playing a video game that has like a dating or a marriage function. If you basically are talking to something that can use AI to generate an actual response to you, you tell it "I love you," and then basically it tells you "I love you" back. How long before we get to a point where we want to download that AI into a robot body? So. I think that basically at that point they're sort of getting into Terminator territory.
Yep.
Like, that's how the machines are basically going to take over. Basically, real life is just going to become so intolerable that living in a machine-based fantasy is going to be the better alternative.
And even that's going to cause problems.
Yep.
Not sure if you heard me, House, but I did say bless you a couple times.
Thank you.
It's really the third time that you have to worry about, because as long as he basically hears you on the third time, then the evil leprechaun can't show up and kidnap him. Yep.
That's how you get changelings.
And I will give no context.
I'm sure the Dutch have an equivalent.
I need to look up Dutch myths.
I'm pretty sure that the Dutch have trolls.
Yeah. Like I said, I gotta look up Dutch myths. Which is ironic considering I'm 1/3 Dutch off my dad's side.
Dutch chocolate.
Yep.
Oh, Dutch chocolate! Oh, the... What I consider the best kind of chocolate.
I think I would like some Dutch hot chocolate. Just
Yeah.
nice
Hold
cocoa.
that thought. Sorry about that. My sister was just letting me know she was sent to work.
Alright.
Yeah, but... Oh, yeah. Dutch hot chocolate is pretty darn good. So here's what you do. You find some Dutch cocoa. Pure Dutch cocoa. Add a little sugar to that. Add like a little warm milk or hot water to it. And there you go. Easy Dutch hot chocolate.
You know, it's so weird. Throughout most of the year, I usually don't have all that much of a sweet tooth, and yet, right now, lately, I just seem to be craving something sweet.
It's probably like the summer heat and wanting you to crave like ice cream or something.
Yeah, ice cream.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
basically, I've been tempted to basically go to the ice cream parlor that's near the place that I work now, because it's been a while since I've been out there, but I keep thinking, no, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. Save your money.
This is one of those times when you're gonna have to say, screw it and get yourself at least one little treat.
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, anyways, let's see. But yeah,
Well, I think that
speaking of Dutch chocolate, my family has like this little tradition that we do like practically every year. And that every time in our stockings we get like a letter, a big piece of chocolate shaped as the letter of our first name.
Ooh, sounds tasty.
And because of that, I got a nice fonding for dark chocolate.
Ooh.
Because that's the kind that my mom always gets.
I have grown an appreciation for dark chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more partial to lighter chocolate. I feel like dark chocolate's a bit too heavy for me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, some dark chocolates are heavier, some dark chocolates are lighter. It depends on how much of the cocoa is in it.
Alrighty, I have gone even further beyond than my previous parkouring methods.
You know,
What
it's funny that you
have
said
you
even
done?
further beyond. It's funnier that you said even further beyond, because I was literally
Where are
about to
you?
mention Dragon Ball.
Where'd you go? Are you on the middle bit? You're totally on the middle bit. Oh my god, he is!
Yep.
He's walking on the middle bit.
Chaos, not to basically criticize your working method, but I can't help but feel like you're just going in circles here.
Hey!
All these squares make a circle, my man.
I mean, we're just going around and around and around. We're not really getting anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Tell that to the clean bits.
But yeah, all this talk about like Dutch chocolate, dark chocolate, light chocolate, milk chocolate, it honestly reminds me of this scene from Dragon Ball Z, which kind of is one of the scarier moments of the franchise. It's where Super Buu escapes from the hyperbolic time chamber and leaves Gotenks and Piccolo behind. And so now the rest of the humans and Z fighters, who are way below Buu's punching weight, they're basically like helpless, as Buu is basically there with them alone. And he's basically thinking about how hungry he is and how he
I
wants
remember.
chocolate. Yep.
Yeah, he turns him into candy.
Yeah, that is scary. Especially because they know that nobody is strong enough to actually stop them, and he's talking about the types of flavors he wants. Dark chocolate with lots of cherries.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, though, it is one of Krillin's bravest moments, the fact that he knows his wife and daughter. He basically wants to give them a chance to escape, so he charges Buu and tells them to run for it.
Not that it does him much good, unfortunately.
I mean, a lot of people basically don't like the Boo saga and say that it was really a waste of time. I say that it definitely should have been better than it was, but the stuff with Super Boo is honestly haunting in a lot of ways. Like, especially when he shows up at the lookout looking for a fight with Gotenks one day before that they are ready for the fight, and Piccolo literally says, there are so many people down on Earth that you could amuse yourself with. Just give us another 24 hours and just go play with those people. And what Boo does next is honestly one of the most chilling moments. He just circles around the rim of the lookout, counting everybody who is left alive down there. And then he just raises his hand and sends down one single blast for every single person down there. The genocide blast. And it's a haunting moment, especially for Piccolo, as he's realizing that he basically put all those people on the chopping block and Boo wiped them out in mere seconds.
Good job, Piccolo. Good job.
I mean, friggin' in the English dub, he calls it human extinction attack. That is haunting.
Mm-hmm. Either way, you done goofed, Piccolo. If you would have kept your mouth shut, then the people would have stayed longer.
I mean, it's interesting to really consider, because I basically say that the reason that the Frieza saga on Namek is such a good saga for the franchise is because you basically have the good characters going up against this really strong opponent, but as you watch on, you see that the good guys are gradually getting stronger and stronger and working their way up to eventually being able to fight Frieza, so that by the time they get there, while they can't actually beat Frieza, they are a whole lot more prepared to fight him than they were when they got to the beginning. So you see a gradual progression instead of just rushing immediately to the final boss. Now in the Boo saga, it's almost like the perspectives are reversed. They basically need to scramble in order to find someone who's strong enough to fight Boo, while at the same time, Boo is also growing stronger and stronger, and he's the one who ends up seeking them out. So in a sense, it's almost like Boo is kind of like the protagonist of the entire saga. The fact that as his good side forms a friendship with Hercule and actually wants to swear off on killing, only to basically realize the consequences of death, becomes so upset by it that he expunges his evil half, and now his evil half has basically free reign of the planet. It really is an interesting character arc, I think, for the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I think... Yeah, go ahead.
Shame what Super pretty much ended up doing to him, though.
Pretty much. I mean, seriously, it's like... Are they ashamed of Boo? Do they not want Boo to be a thing?
Commissioner Baryonyx is talking to me. Caldera Transportation Network offers exciting pressure washer opportunity as its emergency infrastructure subways facilities. Oga. And Kevin, the Ferris wheel may have passed my Helter Skelter as the tallest ride at Wengerloof Carnival, but can it cycle through 12 customers a minute? Seriously? Theoretically, yes, I suppose it could.
I just
get all your egos out of your butts. Okay, that's an interesting bit of graffiti right there. I have a funny feeling what the commissioner wants.
Yeah, we'll talk to Gordon about it later.
I just have to take a moment to point out how much I love the commissioner's name, Commissioner Barry Onyx.
Yep.
You guys get it?
No, I don't. Why?
It's a dinosaur's name.
That reminds me, like just a little fun fact, but I guess this is gonna be spoiler for anyone in my Pathfinder game, so light. But so I was looking around for some interesting half-dragon options because dragons are very interesting to me, and one of the options I found was a red with a half red dragon Tyrannosaurus Rex.
A half red dragon T-Rex.
Yeah.
Oh, there
just
you
half of
go,
one of the
Link. There's
strongest-
dinosaurs and Pathfinders.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I still don't know how to play.
It's not really that hard.
I think that it actually is that hard.
Yeah, it depends on your class, really, and what the DM throws at you. Some classes are easier to pick up than others.
Because, I mean, I still have no idea what I'm doing in there. What are you whispering?
Yeah, anyways.
I'm just trying to clean up the middle bit as best I can.
I think you're doing a pretty dang good job. You're getting panel after panel.
Yeah, like some of these carts are coming around and they've got some work done on them.
Yeah. But I'm guessing it'll soon be time to, like, stop it and start it again and clean them up one card at a time.
No, then we have to go backwards.
Yeah, we have to go backwards.
I don't think there's a reverse option. I better check.
There's
Not with
gotta
that
be a reverse
attitude.
option.
No, there's only the one switch.
Darn it. We were this close to greatness.
Why are we even here? Just to suffer. I think you hit the switch.
Yeah, don't worry. I turned it back on again.
Well, I
There
think
we
that
go.
we pretty much said all that we can say about Elon and X and everything.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the next one. About Mark Zuckerberg is planning on changing Facebook to Z. Dragon Ball Z. It's gonna be the brand new Dragon Ball fan site, everybody. You would never believe it.
Honestly, if Elon does end up knocking Zuckerberg out, he's gonna be seeing Z's.
But yeah, anyways.
But here's an amusing thought that I actually had earlier in this week. LT, based on a conversation we had a while ago, you basically mentioned that you've seen the movie Mouse Hunt, right?
Oh my gosh, yes! I haven't seen it in years, though. That was the only time I've seen it.
Hey, I've got the movie. If you guys ever want to get into a call, we can watch it together.
Yeah, I'm good. Because I've also got, like, a bunch of other things to do as well.
Well,
Come on.
here's
Because-
basic... Yeah, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm basically trying to, like, get to doing a food safety thing
Food safety.
to try to help with my job search, because I keep on getting freaking offers of people for me to be a line cook.
Ah. So you basically need to get certified for food safety things in order to... Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I do not have that certification. I may have, like, done onion rings while working at A&W, but that does not necessarily mean I am fully qualified to be a line cook. I just helped out with the onion rings.
Yep.
And apparently people thought I did such darn good onion rings. Curse whoever was the person that got me fired.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much what's going to be the next step of my job search. I gotta, like, contact, like, the health and safety or whatever it is out here and see about what's going, how to get about it and everything else. And if there's ways of me to, like, do stuff in town since I don't have a car.
Yep.
So yeah. Anyways, back to Mousetrap. Sorry for interrupting with my tangent.
The thing about it is that I just was wondering if you ever noticed that Luigi's Mansion makes a low-key reference to Mouse Hunt.
Oh?
Yep. And I think that it makes sense because, like, the movie came out in 1997. I think Luigi's Mansion was released in, what was it, 99, 2000, something like that? Well, anyways.
Let me just double check.
Alright.
Let's see here.
can't wait for Dark Moon to come to the Switch.
Oh yeah, I'm actually glad a lot more games are coming from the GameCube onto the Switch.
Well, not the
September
GameCube.
14th, 2001, so you were just like about a year off.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's not
but
the GameCube specifically, but I think the original Luigi's Mansion's going too, isn't it?
it's already there.
It's already
there?
there.
Yeah, and Pikmin 1 and 2 are also going to be there.
But I guess my whole thesis about that coming to the Switch is that if they had done this years ago, I wouldn't even have bothered with emulating the game.
Yeah. Hey, at least you'll... And who knows, maybe they'll probably have like little surprises inside. And we
I
can
hope
help
so.
you out, and we can help you out with the Honda Tower bit.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, you guys would finally be able to play together. But anyways,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I have the third game.
Me too.
I have the third game too, and, well,
Why hasn't
Just
no one
a-
tell me this?
because I'm waiting for at least another couple of months, if you know what I mean.
Halloween!
I
Fair
mean,
enough.
last year, basically, when I submitted my the finale of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on Halloween night, I think that because I used Happy Halloween in the hashtag, it ended up skyrocketing in views. And it's like, why can't I be doing numbers like these regularly? But anyways,
Well, there you go. Use more hashtags.
I do use more hashtags, but the point is that anyway, the low key, I think that Luigi's Mansion does make a reference to Mouse Hunt because, well, it's a blink and you'll notice, and it's a blink and you'll miss it moment from the movie because at the beginning of the movie when the lawyer is going over their father's will and talking about all the stuff that he's bequeathed to them, when he starts talking about the house, he reveals that his father required it as payment of a debt. Apparently the previous owner was, quote, found locked in a trunk in the attic. Yeah, pretty dark. And then later on in the movie, when they hire an exterminator played by Christopher Walken named Caesar, the mouse literally ends up trapping Caesar in a trunk in the attic, implying that the mouse might have been the one to have killed the house's previous owner. So,
Oh, God. That is one
That'll-
scary and smart little mouse.
yep,
The mouse is a serial killer.
It literally comes with a revelation from Nathan Lane's character Ernie that he's like, I don't think we're dealing with an ordinary mouse. Anyway, the reason that I basically bring it up is because in Luigi's Mansion, when you go up to the attic, like I think after the blackout and the lights in the attic are all turned off, there's actually a trunk up there. And this trunk didn't do anything before when the lights were on, but once the lights go off in that room, when you open up the trunk, a ghost skeleton comes out.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh,
Yeah.
clever!
Very
Clever, Nintendo.
Because, I mean, Nintendo does stuff like this all the time. They will reference so many random movies that I can't help but think that that's something that they would do.
This gets me thinking. I wonder in the Muckham Files, the devs will do something similar. There's an idea for
Exactly.
you guys, There's an idea for you guys, devs.
I mean, like, they've referenced so many things. The fact that the commissioner is named after a baryonyx, and even at the beginning, when you mentioned the fact that the town mayor, he basically had us clean up his boat so that he could make a quick getaway. I didn't mention it last week, but I think that might be a reference to The Hobbit, because, I mean, like, basically, like, during The Hobbit, when Smaug basically attacks Lake Town, instead of basically, like, sending out the guard to try and, like, have Smaug shot down, the master of Lake Town is too busy trying to make a getaway down the river in his great gilded boat with all the town's money. So,
Wow.
yep,
Well, there we go.
typical politician. Say, women and me first. Money and me first.
Yeah. Well, and then, based off of what I know, a lot of politicians still act like that today.
Mhm.
Yep.
They rather dip than face the consequences of their actions.
And sometimes they'll even gladly let things that are dangerous keep going on. But to go a little bit beyond that, recently I've learned that apparently a lot of Mexico's crime has been going down since 2021.
Oh, that's good to hear.
2022. Yeah, the government, from my understanding, has cracked down hard on the crime. So much so that the average cartel...
Cracking view of the volcano from the top of the wheel, ain't it? Especially when it's smoking like it is right now. Hold up!
All aboard?
Hey, Oz, are you up there? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's supposed to do that, yeah? Hey, Oz? Look towards where the sun is.
I
Do you see
the
that?
volcano.
I have a feeling that now we know why the mayor dipped.
Hey, Oz? Last time when we saw the volcano, it wasn't smoking.
Yep.
That's doing a whole lot more than smoking. That's actively spewing.
Well, gang, we need intervention. It's clear that Mr. Volcano is on the drugs.
Hey, we don't need to jump to conclusions. For all we know, the volcano just had a little Chipotle last night.
Okay, I got this bottom area done.
Of course, in my line of work, this is usually a sign that Rodan has woken up.
Oh, great.
By the way, guess where I am on the Ferris wheel this time?
You are adjacent to the right.
I'll let LT be the one to answer.
Oh my god! He's on top of the frame.
To be fair, it's a lot safer here because I don't even have to have moved to keep myself steady this time.
So let's basically let's basically go over everything that we know. Apparently the mayor was working with Blake Thrust, and as much as I like Thrust, that drill that he had, that basically, like, people have been claiming that drill was part of some kind of illegal mining operation, as was the use of most of the town's water. So I have a feeling that whatever it is that Blake and the mayor were doing, they might have just thrown a lit match into the powder keg.
Yeah. And on top of all that, it all started with a missing cat. Here's my theory. The cat knew what was going on and dipped. Animals have a very strong sixth sense about these things. It probably went like missing to try to warn people about something happening, and people are not getting the message.
Yeah, I still have my suspicions that Ulysses just found himself a nice lady friend.
I still can't get over how cute that monster truck was. It was basically Ulysses. But yeah.
You know what I think would be funny? If basically, like, somebody in this game had a novelty $50 bill with, instead of Ulysses S. Grant, they had a cat on it.
Oh my god, yes!
Hey, makers of PowerWash Simulator, if you guys get a merchandise store up, there's an idea for a t-shirt. Or a mug. Yeah, you guys give me 5% on every single sale.
I would love that as my tea mug. I'm always looking for cute things. Oh good, I got the center shaft all cleaned up. Yeah, because so far I've got like a few mugs right now. I got one that's basically is a collection of the weapons of Warframe that I got over at TennoCon a few years back. I got one that's basically information of my birth sign that I got from the Dollar Tree I used to work out long before I even started working there. And I got this plain blue one that came with like sort of a tea subscription thing.
I mean, speaking of the Dollar Tree, like, haven't you basically tried to, like, go back there for some work?
Well, the problem was the reason why I left there was because of the distance.
Ah.
Remember, I don't drive.
Yeah. Alright, now guess where I am at.
Calcutta.
Hang on, give me a second. I'm just like... There we go. Letting the wheel do the work. Are you? Hang on, let me just...
Where's Waldo?
Down.
I see you.
Are you on another one of the cars?
But which one? Can you tell?
Did I just miss you? Wait, no. Oh! You were behind me!
What can I... I am a master of self. What can I say?
I thought I heard something behind me.
I'm like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 1, a jump scare. Probably my favorite little meme of that game so far.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mortal Kombat 1, how about we take the opportunity to talk about the DLC character package?
There we go. There's something to keep us all cheerful while we're about to have a dinosaur-sized barbecue.
Well, we got J.K. Simmons and John Cena.
Any other thoughts?
Let's see, we got Takeda, who is the son of Kenshi, so it's going to be interesting seeing how he's factored in, given the timelines reset and everything.
And Ermac.
Ermac in what is probably his ugliest design yet, if you ask me.
Honestly, I think that's one of the things that irritates me the most about a franchise that just keeps rebooting itself, because, like, Ermac was one of the loose ends from, like, the previous stories, and now we have no idea. We're never going to get any sort of resolution on where he was, what he was doing, if he was even alive or not.
Yeah.
Just hit the big old reset button. But anyways, the big things to basically talk about here is that we've got Peacemaker from DC Comics, we've got the Homelander from The Boys, and we've got Omni-Man from Invincible. All three of these guys basically have some things in common, but we'll get to that.
Wait, it's not Invincible, it's...
I really need to watch that entire season, but that means I have to get my Amazon Prime subscription back. But anyways, the point, let's see if I can just quantify this and think about it hard for a brief moment. So, I have a feeling that Mark is... I have a feeling that if we get more DLC character packages, Mark might not be far down the lines, because, like, let's face it, you can't basically have a game featuring Omni-Man, his dad, without Invincible, right? That's just... these games are basically known for their character interactions at this point. You have to have... And that's what people are so friggin' exciting about. The fact that you're going to be able to pit Omni-Man against Homelander. Omni-Man versus Homelander is real. and people are literally hoping that the famous line from the death battle from Omni-Man, "I'm going to feed you your own heart," is going to be an actual line in the game.
I just hope it becomes an actual fatality.
Me too.
That would be hilarious.
Yep. I mean, it has to be. They're doing this specifically for a reason. They know that the internet exists. They have to be doing it for that.
I swear, a lot of these developers now these days are just feeding off of memes that people make.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 14 is a strong example of that.
So, I guess from where I basically stand on the perspective of having these guys in the game, I'm kind of apprehensive towards it because, I don't know, it feels like that basically instead of a Mortal Kombat game, maybe they should have basically saved these guys for the next Injustice game, because we all know that eventually it's going to happen anyway. It just feels like, especially between Omni-Man and Homelander, they're just way too similar to Superman to just throw into Mortal Kombat. And I know that most everybody in Mortal Kombat is superhuman or supernatural in some way, but it just kind of feels like throwing these guys in might be the slightest bit overkill.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason with Mortal Kombat, there's no better kill than overkill.
Well,
Yeah,
to be fair, in defense of them being in Mortal Kombat rather than Injustice, I can think of two reasons. One,
Why?
originally they were thinking about doing Injustice 3 first, rather than Mortal Kombat 1, but they were changing up the new engine, and they wanted to pretty much, test it out with tried and true Mortal Kombat.
So basically, they're throwing Mortal Kombat onto the metaphorical chopping block so that Injustice can end up nice and polished.
Correct.
Hey, at least they're like putting some care into it for the Injustice fans.
Yeah. And the second thing, and I feel like this is probably more so the proper answer, is that is that Homelander and Omni-Man, man, they have one thing in common, been beyond, being evil Superman knockoff, but they're very bloody Superman
knockoffs. Yeah.
Knockoffs. They do not shy away from the gore, especially Omni-Man, because I've seen the scene of him ripping apart his own equivalent of the Justice League with his bare hands.
Yep.
I've seen him. If you don't mind,
Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoiler: I've seen him put a guy's head through a train.
Yep.
And went through the entirety of the train. Anyone in the way of it just getting absolutely massacred.
And the sad thing is, he did more damage to those people than he did to his opponent.
Yeah.
When did superheroes become that dark?
Well, it all starts with this guy named Roger Moore, who basically decided, you know what? If superheroes actually existed, we should be downright terrified of them. Because they spend all of their time claiming that they're watching us and protecting us from threats. Who the heck is watching these guys? Who's regulating them? What happens if they suddenly decide to go rogue? And that's basically where it came from. He basically decided, I'm going to deconstruct these guys, and then suddenly everybody started deconstructing them. Problem is, they don't forget to realize that when you deconstruct something, you have to reconstruct something in its place. Most people just do the deconstructing and just leave it alone after that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Watchmen was actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it does sort of make sense, because it's pretty much the same reason why I'm afraid of Pokemon. If you actually lived in a world with beings that actually had superpowers and invulnerabilities to things that would kill ordinary human beings, at what point do you start thinking, what if these people can't be trusted?
Excuse me?
Like, basically like that whole thing, if power corrupts, then absolute power corrupts absolutely. But anyways, I mean, that's not even the worst of what Omni-Man does. Spoiler alert, we literally see him genocide an entire alien race that was invading Earth.
Wow.
And not even for the fact that he was protecting Earth, it was more like, this is my territory. I'm working this side of the street.
Yeah. And to be fair, like before you know, the whole betrayal of his league thing happened, Omni-Man and his gang was more or less depicted as your classic, the classic superhero sort of superheroes.
I mean, Omni-Man is basically Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, and Invincible, I think, in most of his efforts, strives to try to be like that, but he has one problem.
His temper.
Yeah. His temper, and he's not strong enough to be able to handle certain threats like his father could. So there's a period where, with the Justice League dead, and his father unconscious, he has to pretty much, with a bunch of other people, will pick up the metaphorical burden, as, you know, people investigate what on earth happened, if they don't know what happened. Or that, all they see is that there's a bunch of dead superheroes, with only one seeming survivor from the attack.
Nice going. You done goofed.
Yeah, it wasn't a done goof, actually. Actually, it was completely intentional, but again, as to why that would be, goes into a little bit more spoilers, but the general point being is that Omni-Man is effectively the fake Superman. So to go in further into his story does bring up more stuff in regards to his character and whatnot. It's not just that. It doesn't just stop at that note, because what makes Invincible isn't the fact that he's invincible, it's that he, you know, part of him actually represents that honest desire and goodwill to do the right thing.
So basically, Invincible is far better at being a superhero than his father.
Well, of course.
I don't know why I was expecting you to say this, but for a split second I thought you were going to say it's a better superhero than Captain Marvel.
That doesn't go that far.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that basically when it comes down to it is a simple question. Being a better superhero, question one, are you a fascist? Mark? No, of course not. Carol? Well... Okay, we're done here.
Yeah.
It's true. Oh, man. It's even funny, because even the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they haven't, like, called her... We haven't seen signs of that, granted. But, she has,
She's definitely a hypocrite.
Yeah. Well, I would say the ramifications of some actions that she ended up doing in her own movie, just fighting everyone else in the butt, really.
Pretty much.
Really takes the Secret Invasion.
But
yeah.
As for basically like the whole Mortal Kombat thing, I know
yeah,
that
back to that.
I think that basically everybody at some point wants this to happen, and who knows, maybe at some point it will happen. I think that basically a character that I'd really like for the DLCs, it's gotta be the Doomslayer. At some point he has to show up in this. I mean,
it seems like it's his territory.
After how big Doom has basically become with its resurgence since 2016, and almost a complete virtual rebrand of the Doom icon, you basically have to have it. You basically have to let him get into Mortal Kombat where he can rip and tear with someone in his weight class.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, sure, he doesn't say much, but could you just imagine him basically glory killing Shao Kahn?
And then going back to visit Isabel and having fun fishing.
Like, that should totally be his friendship. They should work out something to do. So they should work out something with Nintendo to allow Isabel to cameo in Doomslayer's friendship.
Yeah, depending on how they do friendship. Oh yeah, and the other character they also brought back beyond those few, is also Quan Chi.
And that's honestly one of the things that I don't get. Why is it that Quan Chi is a DLC character? Like, it feels like with like him, Ermac, and Takeda, it feels like they shouldn't be DLC characters. It feels like they should already be a part of the roster. So, like, what the heck is going on?
I assume that they just have like a set roster of characters that they're already finished, and they're just adding in a few more. Because God knows, like, if they wanted to, I don't know. Game development is hard.
I know, but it just kind of feels like, I feel like basically Mortal Kombat should make strides to basically start being like Smash. A foregone conclusion that everyone is here, and everybody else that comes in as DLC they're just guests.
Oh, that also reminds me. It's just like one part that they've did that they're joining is cameo fighters. Can you imagine if Invincible just becomes a cameo fighter for On Demand?
He probably will be.
Yeah.
Although I really wonder, like, what capacity is he gonna fly in and like help his dad out with a punch, or is his dad gonna grab him off screen and use him as a battering ram?
Well, remember, cameo can be used for like everyone, so that means like if someone uses him as a battering ram, that means everyone will just have their assist comes in just to be served as a battering ram. So I know with how the cameo fighters work, they're pretty much assists, but on continued on.
Well.
Not that easy, huh?
Nope.
You thought it was easy for me just to be able to just jump around like a little monkey on the Ferris wheel?
Aha, there it is.
I got this side.
Okay. Ooh, the inside is also still a little... Oh, jeez, that's bright! We got it.
Yay.
Alright.
Hot frames. So there's still a few more. Oh, there's one that's coming by now.
Not nearly as bright as when we cleaned that bathroom, remember?
Oh, God, don't
Oh,
mind
yeah.
The flash was all around us.
me. Yeah.
Well, as long as it wasn't Ezra Miller, I'll be happy.
Yep. Oh, that
This
I
one's
suddenly
clean.
remember the topic. Like, we were talking about when did superheroes become so scary. It's like, and Roger Moore basically posed the idea, if they existed, we would be terrified of them, because when you get down to it, like, there's so many things about them. They break the laws of physics so much that they could, in fact, be a danger and a detriment to humanity and the planet as a whole. Like, take this for example. You guys know about the endless and tireless debate about who is faster, Superman or the Flash. The idea that Superman is as fast as he needs to be, therefore he should be able to basically keep up with Flash, the fastest man alive. Well, when you get down into the specifics of it, this question, it not only can't be answered, it actively shouldn't be answered, because they should never, ever engage in an actual race at their maximum speeds, because it could literally destroy the planet if they do. The way that it goes is that Flash basically can pretty much like break speeds that would easily be able to break the sound barrier, maybe even break the light barrier, maybe even break the time barrier. But the thing about it is, the difference between Flash and Superman is that Flash has the Speed Force, and the Speed Force is basically like its own little pocket dimension that forms around the Flash when he's using his powers that literally negates the laws of physics around his body, basically protecting our reality from the Flash as he's actively breaking the laws of physics. It's basically like a cheat card saying that, nope, you're in the consequence-free zone right now, so you go as fast as you like, little buddy. Superman, on the other hand, doesn't have the Speed Force. He doesn't have the little consequence-free bubble that forms around him. So if Superman basically goes too fast to the point where he breaks the sound barrier and causes a sonic boom in order to keep up with Flash, the ripple effect could literally cause a tremor that could literally just shake the planet apart. So it's basically...
In other words, Superman has to let the Flash win, because his attempts of trying to keep up will destroy the planet.
Basically, yeah.
The one thing I think it's funny too is that the whole thing with the superheroes being scary. What does that mean for the super villains?
Oh, they'll be worse.
Yeah, the superheroes ultimately are trying to do the right thing, or at least they should be doing the right thing.
Or maybe they're presenting themselves as doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
I mean, that's the whole point with Homelander. He basically like wants everybody to think that he's such a good guy to feed his own ego, which is why he slipped the superhero-making formula out to foreign countries in the hopes that they could create their own super villains for him to fight.
Okay, one of these rear spokes is not clean.
I hate these things. I really do. So what are we looking for?
It's a rear spoke, but apparently it's saying it's... Look for one that's like flashing white.
Somebody might want to be handy on the button.
Oh, found it! There it is! Woo!
There we go.
Yay!
Oh, thank God. How much did that take? Okay.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, pretty much. Jeez. That was a long mission.
Man, this image is going so fast it looks like the wheel is teetering back and forth.
Yeah. Let's see. I need bistro. The Ferris wheel's roasting your legend just in nick of time too. With the rate generator blown, we have to stick with the original one, and the classic vibe of the artwork really fits with the slower pace. Techno Ferris wheel was probably a terrible idea anyway. I'm turning my attention to Crackers. Keith, the world's first techno caterpillar roller coaster.
Caterpillar.
Oh!
What?
Should we continue or save this for another one? Because we got a subway platform to clean up.
And it's $2,000? Man, helpless people on the subway train, they scream bug-eyed as he looks in on them.
By the way, looking at the video footage,
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Did you even keep an eye on me during that?
Yeah, I saw that.
I guess I'm the Flash.
Well,
We
I
could
mean,
just do something a little slower, since we still got these bonus ones.
Gnome Fountain? I thought it said mountain.
We could do the Gnome Fountain from the Park Warden, Dirt Fighter. Did you know we're going up in the world? The mayor recently said to me, Warden, we're going up in the world. I'm not currently at liberty to say why or how, but Buckingham needs every potential tourist attraction that it can lay its hands on. Leave no stone unturned. Let's it be a jewel, or something to that effect. So I sent my deputy Earl out and about to see what we could find, and in less than 3 weeks he found a sorry-looking fountain near the edge of the middle of the recreational grounds. It urgently needs a splash of your expertise. Do what you can, Dirt Finder, and we are stuck with the Urban XU2.
Ah. So it's like a challenge.
Well, it's just like a little bonus, so to wrap things up, we might as well take care of this.
I find it kind of funny, given how these little narratives that were being fed.
I need to start another multiplayer session since it's one of the bonus jobs.
Well, guess I'll just flee then.
And I'll bring you back in to clean up the fountain. So yeah, if we like get something done in less than 2 hours, but there's not much time left for the next job, we'll just do one of these bonus jobs.
So it took him 3 weeks to discover that the fountain was dirty. I have a feeling that people in this town are literally coming up with any sort of excuse to not do their jobs. Honestly, it makes me want to move to Buckingham.
And this is a 450 job, so
It's literally half the price.
yep. There we go. Alright. Sent you the invite, so we should be starting. Look at this! Look at all the gnomes! Aw, it's adorable! I bet it'd be more adorable once we get it all cleaned up. It's a gnome found for obvious reason. What do you think it's made out of? A stone?
Gnomes.
Imagine if all these gnomes were real.
If it's some kind of marble, then we could potentially repurpose it to be into a new park keeper's lodge.
Really? You're gonna live in a fountain?
Only if the fountain itself is of insufficient quality, of course. Well, by the time we're done, it'll be all of sufficient quality. Yeah, this one will take a little bit more time to clean up, so... Well, might as well take care of it one gnome at a time.
Well, you guys heard the man. You guys gotta get cleaning. You gotta embrace the marble. You gotta sniff the marble. You gotta wash the marble. You gotta date the marble. You gotta be the marble.
Is that another SpongeBob reference?
Yes.
Okay, it sounded like it was one. I can definitely see that the pots that these gnomes are standing on is where the water is, like, pouring out of into the main fountain. Hey, we're cleaning a lot of gnome-like things. Why not go all out? That reminds me, I haven't checked around for the circus gnomes back at the Ferris wheel. Oh well.
wonder if there's any relevance between with the gnomes and volcanoes.
Who knows?
Needless to say, I'm kind of disappointed that next week we're going to be underground in a subway tunnel. I really am curious to see what, if we might get another look at that volcano.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how quick we get the subway done.
Considering that it's a $2,000 job, I have a feeling that you might want to clear your schedules next week.
Yep. Okay, got one gnome done.
Quite funny that each gnome has a different way of donating water to the fountain.
Yeah. Makes them all the more expressive. I'm guessing the devs really like gnomes. I see, as a kid, when I used to walk around in my old neighborhoods, I always like looking at the yards and seeing the different like garden decorations some people have. And some of them are pretty unique. I remember several of them being cats, of course the classic gnomes, and some of them are a little bit out there and whatnot, but still pretty interesting to look at. Okay, got another gnome done. Might as well get this done. Yeah, I'm gonna go left and you can go right when you're like doing the gnomes. Yeah, this red bit's gonna get, the red nozzle's gonna get a good bit of work with all the rust.
Nice, one gnome down. Oh yeah, also, one thing before I forget about the, whole thing with Homelander and Omni-Man. While Omni-Man is, obviously a bad guy who is pretending to be a hero, bro, he does ultimately do heroic things and does stuff, you know, because it's not because he's secretly a mustache twirling villain, it's more, he's a Saiyan, essentially.
Basically.
What if Krypton never got destroyed and had the same mentality as the Saiyans from Dragon Ball?
I mean, that really is a question that I'm surprised that DC has not wanted to answer, because I mean, this species basically becomes super powered as long as they are off their home planet. It really makes you wonder, why the heck are they all hanging around here for? Like your home planet's about to get destroyed? Well, everybody onto the lifeboats.
Same reason why we probably wouldn't be able to have a good time trying to do that in real life. Theocracy.
bureaucracy.
Yep.
Out of curiosity, why did the planet blow up?
Something to do with Brainiac. I have a feeling that, well, it really just depends on, like, which version. I think that some versions, their red sun became so unstable that it finally exploded. And maybe some other versions, I think that people, the people mined too deeply into the planet and destabilized the core.
Yeah. It's not one of those things set in stone, like who killed Bruce Wayne's parents, for example.
For my time,
how long?
I thought it was like a mugger.
Yeah, but it usually is a mugger. There with the most common interpretation beyond being just a random mugger being a guy named Joe Chill.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that there haven't been other variants. But yeah, the main reason why I went on the whole tension about Omni-Man is that ultimately, despite his rather brutal and alien way of looking down on people, he did instill a lot of the values that Mark had. It's just that a lot of those values also was shared and also pressed upon by Mark's mother as well.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the main thing with Homelander doesn't have any positive traits, really.
Yep.
Really, the whole story you heard is quite simply that. The guy is just a evil prick.
Mm.
I mean, if he wasn't so enjoyable to watch at times, I seriously doubt that anybody would like him.
Yeah. There's always something good you want for a villain. I consider it whenever, like, they're that love to hate sort of thing. Because that's a sign you've done a very good villain, in my opinion. You still somewhat fail if it's a villain that is just straight up despised, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like Devora from Mortal Kombat 11 comes to mind. And 10. Which, long story short, showed a new character that was shoehorned into earlier events and manages to kill a couple of fan favorites. From Baraka to Melina to even Ben Scorpion himself.
Yeah, that's, I think, where the brakes are put on, because I think that basically next to Liu Kang, Scorpion is practically the mascot of the franchise.
Yeah.
Yep.
So him being killed off by the bug lady is, and the worst part about it is, too, she doesn't even show up again after she does that.
Probably just realized that they really goofed up and decided to say, nope, not doing that again.
Well, the funny thing is that it's just like, with everything going, like, because what happened is that, because originally she was going to do more of a painful death for Scorpion, but then his past self, because 11 was a big old time mumbo-jumbo, for lack of a better word, came in to try to save his future self, or at least avenge his death, and Devora then just ran away, which I find to be very bizarre, because, again, she doesn't show up again, and B, probably would have been a good time to just, you know, have another villain death. The fact that there isn't as many villain fatalities as there should be, and what ends up no matter what outcome a reset of the timeline really confuses me.
You think the devs like their villains more?
Probably.
They like Devora more because she's the only one that gets to do this. Like, outside of the Aftermath story, no other villain managed to do nearly as much as her. No other villain manages to be a thorn into the good guy side across in the whole timeline. The closest is Sindel, but even then one, Sindel gets retcon as of 11, so I don't want to prescribe what happens in 9 specifically to her, because it's technically not even the same character at that point.
Yeah.
And then, second, Sindel gets a power-up from Shang Tsung's soul in order to do half the stuff that she did. Meanwhile, Devora did everything that she did with no such power-up, just the constant metaphorical sucking of every villain that she supposedly worked for in the timeline, ranging from Onaga, apparently, to Shao Kahn, to Melina, to Kotal Khan, to Shinnok, and depending on who you talk to, the least, Devora. And not Devora's final boss being Chronica, the Titan of Time.
Okay.
And also, to describe what Devora is, you know Oogie Boogie?
Is he that giant living sack of bugs from Nightmare Before Christmas?
He certainly
Yeah,
is.
imagine that, but in a more humanoid, insect-like body.
Ooh.
To where, instead of basically needing a burlap sack to keep all the bugs together, the bugs literally join together as one, kind of like skin cells.
Ew.
Yep.
Gross.
Yeah, not exactly the most attractive of the Mortal Kombat character, and it certainly does not help that there's a line Devora says when fighting Kotal Khan, where she's like, "Did you tell Jade about us?" "There's nothing to tell, Devora." "Such deception, Kotal." It's like, alright, I'm sorry, Kotal. I know you spent a long time alone, and as far as you were aware, Devora was on your side. But you did not shag a bug lady, especially when it's a multiple bug lady.
I mean, you want to get ants? That's how you get ants.
Ew.
Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat universe is weird.
And disgusting.
Yeah. It's also sad in some aspects, like in the original little timeline, we got Reptile, who is the last member of his race. I forget what it's called. I think it's called like the Saurians or something.
Yeah.
And what he really wants to do is to figure out a way how to bring them back, and he's slowly devolving in a sort of madness because he is otherwise unable to find a way, because every single villain he works for gets defeated, and even then in his arcade endings, when he does work for them and win, he usually doesn't get what he wants, or just straight up gets killed.
Ouch.
Poor
Yeah,
lizard.
Reptile, but yeah.
Reptile.
Yeah. By the time of Mortal Kombat Deception, he gets betrayed by this vampire lady who was using him to get somebody else to grab her an orb to bring her own realm back to life. and he gets possessed by the Dragon King Onaga, and gets used as his body. So, yeah, he definitely doesn't get a chance to revive his race, because Onaga, I believe, technically dies in that game, and even then he shows up again in Armageddon, so...
Poor Reptile, he really got the short end of the stick.
I know,
Yeah.
right? He really should have showed up in 11 just to have like a little bit of story given to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead, he's too busy playing poker in the back with the rest of them.
Yeah. The only appearance in the game is just being a spooky ghost in the crypt. Meanwhile, Ermac just falls off a cliff. But that's a separate thing entirely. The roster they did end up going for always felt a little bit weird to me. Like, they have, the Collector.
Yep. I'm legit surprised that a character like Collector only just got introduced in Mortal Kombat 11. I honestly feel like something like him
Oh,
should
God's
have
sake,
been...
hold on.
Let's see, what else about it?
It honestly kind of feels like he should have basically been a part of the franchise before now, because a character like him just makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong number. I forgot to put my phone on buzz.
Ah.
Yeah, someone Yeah. Someone was looking for someone, but I was not that someone. That's all. They were very polite about it, so.
They were probably a scammer.
I think they were like looking for some sort of business or something. I don't know.
You see, that's kind of how they do it nowadays. They basically either call you or they send you a text message trying to get you to reply to them, just to find out if you're actually real. And then
this was an actual person.
They can be actual people too.
Yeah.
Like, I even got one the other day. Like, I haven't answered it or replied to it. I'm just gonna ignore it. But basically, looking at it, it says, let's see. Hi, are you Elisa? I'm Irene. I lost my phone. I'm not sure if it's you. Yeah, sure you are. I keep getting others that basically say, oh, sorry, is this Mr. Rogers? Sorry, I'm not your neighbor.
Yeah. So, I just politely said, I'm sorry you have the wrong number, and she was okay. And she was like, okay, yeah, you have a good day.
Well, maybe it was real, because usually they keep trying to talk to you, keep you on the line, because I responded to one of these people once, and it's like, oh, so sorry to bother you, but you seem really nice. Do you want to keep talking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. What we were talking about again? Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, I might as well put my phone on silent so that we don't get interrupted again.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, been interesting going through all the little Mortal Kombat things as of late. I'm not sure why I specifically got into this little kick of watching Mortal Kombat content, but I have. Really hope that there's a bunch of funny videos. Especially in regard to that damn poker room.
Me, I just like hearing the characters interact with each other. Like, they've got such strong personalities that it really makes you regret the fact that it took them so long to start doing things like this.
Yeah. And
Oh,
the thing,
yeah.
it was Mortal Kombat that got in our rating system.
Pretty much. As well as a filter system where you could basically decide how gory you wanted it to be.
Hmm.
Basically, it's the first video game to have a catch-up setting.
It's also the first video game where I think you can kill the Joker in so many myriad ways, too.
Yeah.
Finally, the Clown Prince of Crime will meet his punishment by RoboCop.
I just find that, like, so funny, the fact that with Joker's interactions, they basically treat a spin-off game, the Mortal Kombat versus DC Comics versus Mortal Kombat, they treat it like that's somehow still canon.
Kind of guy got really drunk that timeline.
Yep.
That explains why meanwhile, Liu Kang, when he was making his new era, he's just like, oh, this is so boring. Let's see what they had in this future. Oh, this looks awesome. I should incorporate this into my new era. Accidentally adds in a whole Homelander and Omni-Man, not making it past the first episode.
Yeah, that actually is kind of, like, curious. The idea that this entire game is basically crafted specifically by Liu Kang, who is now basically the god of fire, lightning, and time. So, well, how the heck are these guys going to suddenly show up in here?
Oh, you see, the virtues of Marvel are that it doesn't really readily absorb heat or moisture. Okay.
One thing I know for certain is that Liu Kang is probably going to have the timeline be set once,
Yeah,
and then
me,
just pretty.
sorry, Park Warden just sent me another message, and I missed reading it.
Currently, Earl and I are huddled up in a Creostal shack the boys don't get if it gets hot in the summer months, cold in the winter.
Yeah, currently Earl and I are huddled up in a creosote shack, and boy, does it get hot in the summer months and cold in the winter. Ouch.
And so he wants to tear down the fountain and build a shack out of marble.
Or more like turn it into a shack.
Gnome get to stay. They're the watchmen of the shack.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if this fountain was a portal to the land of the gnomes.
That's a scary thought.
What do you have against gnomes?
They're alive.
They seem to be everywhere. Every time I turn around, there's like a gnome like looking at me in this game.
I bet if it was a kobold, you wouldn't have a problem.
Kobolds are cute.
They sneak into your laundry rooms and they steal your underwear.
The gnomes?
Yes, the underwear gnomes.
Of course, the scariest depiction of gnomes I've seen is the ones in Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah, those guys. Like, in the first episode, didn't they basically, like, pretend to be a teenage boy and try to basically take Mabel back to their kingdom to be their queen or something?
I think so.
God, I loved that show. I only watched through it once. I should watch through it again. But I don't have the time for that right now. Especially since I keep telling myself you should really watch through the rest of Attack on Titan. I never have.
There we go.
Is this really marble, though? It looks too turquoise.
Some are, well, some, I think sometimes people like, I think it's probably also like a factor in from nature or something that some marbles are colored. Never mind. Yeah, this thing's not done.
Nope. Be right back. You'll let the dog out for a
Okay.
walk.
Hey, who let the dogs out?
Let you know when I'm back.
Okay, there we go. Alright, what was I doing? Oh, yes, this.
So you got anything else going on?
I got an appointment with a job searching guy tomorrow.
That's good. On my job front, basically, had to wait for the TSA to send me some kind of access code, which I could then use to access the website, in which I would fill out an application giving them permission to do a background check on me.
Ah.
Government job. Their questions were very extensive and very intrusive.
Well,
Had
they
to
gotta make sure.
It basically took them a while. It took me a while to convince them that I didn't actually know where my older brother lived.
Wow.
Yep. Even though basically he and I are trying to mend fences, as it were, we're pretty much on a I don't know where you live and I don't want you to know where I live sort of basis.
Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing with me and a couple of other family members. Don't want to go into that tangent again.
Other than that, I really want to get the ball rolling on my YouTube channel again, finally getting to that backlog of God of War and Doom Eternal videos that
I noticed.
stopped uploading back in April. Especially because I'm actually surprised that I've gotten a few subscribers in the past week since I started doing this, and it's like,
There you go.
it might actually give me a little bit of hope. And especially considering that I want to get at least the ball rolling before I start on some more big projects, because I've got some things that I need to basically do for October, especially considering the anniversary of Jack 2 is in October.
Ah.
Yep.
And then there's Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yep. So, yeah, September is going to be a pretty busy month for me between all the games that I'm going to have to play. Question is, do I play them all at the same time, or do I go back or do I just do one all the way through and then play the next ones?
Well, my recommendation is just pace yourself. Don't want to burn yourself out too quick.
Speaking of pacing myself, I now have a definitive deadline. The new Monstrous Moments video. It's basically got to be done by September the 6th, because Gamera Rebirth is premiering on Netflix September 7th.
Ah.
Which means that when we're done here, I gotta basically just toss myself right into the Gamera Heisei trilogy and try and come up with something that I can say about that big terrapin.
Well, I wish you luck with that. Good luck, that is.
And here's hoping that I can keep that video under like under half an hour, maybe like 16 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the most. Basically, I don't want to basically have a repeat of what happened the last time.
Well, you sure did have a lot to say for that one.
And I think that it was because I was really emotional about it.
Well, considering the event that happened during that, I don't blame you.
Yeah. I still can't believe that he's gone. I can't believe that in a few months it's going to be 1 year since it happened. Where's time going?
Yeah, I mean, just recently, a lot of fans celebrated both the birthday and the passing of Technoblade.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like going pretty fast. And in sillier news, Reddit's got its r/place running, and oh boy, a lot of German streamers seem to have this thing against the brony community. Because they initially had this spot with like a artwork of Rainbow Dash doing the salute from Dragon Chai and of what fans called Derpy Hooves, even though officially in the show she's called Muffins for some reason.
Well, she is the Muffin Mare.
Yeah.
Although is her name officially Muffins? I kind of sworn that they actually did call her Derpy.
No, that was a fan thing, and apparently a lot of parents complained because of her look and everything else, and blah blah blah. They tried censoring her by getting rid of her cute little cockeyed look. It didn't work out to the fans. Because they think that whoever these parents are, they're taking things way too seriously.
Definitely.
And ruined a beloved character. And she didn't have a voice for quite some time, just a few little cute little cameos here and there until the episode called Slice of Life.
Aha.
Where it featured the main ponies being the background ponies and the background ponies being the main ponies, all because of a chaotic wedding where things already was not exactly the best start when dates were misprinted on the invitations, and they didn't realize what was happening until the last second.
And basically, that's also the episode where they kind of gave a little, they threw a bone to the fans and basically confirmed that one brown pony in the background is in fact Dr. Hooves.
Without officially confirming it's Dr. Hooves, just a scientist.
I mean, Lyra does call him Doc, doesn't she?
Derpy? Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Lyra.
No. Speaking of Lyra, what I didn't expect, of course, was Bon Bon actually being a secret agent.
Bon Bon was a secret agent?
Yeah, her real name is Agent Sweetie Drops.
Okay.
And even though they tried to deny it in that episode, saying best friends and all, it's official. Lyra and Bon Bon are a couple.
Of course they are.
Because on the way to the last episode of the entire series, there's been the animators finally said, okay, fine, you can have your Lyra Bon Bon couple.
I mean, you wouldn't want to make all those fan artists into liars now, would they?
Yeah. Yeah, while everyone's like freaking out over this wedding, the main six is dealing with a bugbear in the background. And no, we're not talking like the mythical troll-like being. It was actually a cross between a panda bear and a bee.
That actually does look adorable.
Yep. And of course, thanks to a bad translation from Google Translate, well, not Google Translate, but the subtitle system on YouTube, that sea serpent from the very first episode is now officially Stephen Magnet.
Stephen Magnet.
Yep. Once again, these developers and animators and whatever, these studios, living off the memes. That shows how much how much these guys care for the fandom. And of course learn that when they try to appease one group, they're guaranteed to piss off another group. Well, more like a bigger group. Hello, who's here? Okay, no worries, House. I have a feeling that yard is not exactly small.
What is all that green stuff on these golden filigrees?
Verdigris. I think it's a kind of rust.
Yeah.
Let me check. Let's see here. A bright bruised green incrustation or patina formed on copper or brass by atmospheric oxidation, aka rust. So these things are not gold, they're brass. And this is their way of basically rusting.
Well, are you expected to clean it off?
Yep.
Because I keep seeing them flash as if they're complete, and then I notice that they still got that green stuff on them.
Some of them I haven't even touched yet. Oh, no, it's the reflection of the other marble.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're done. They're just clean. Very clean. So, yeah. Which reminds me, if you ever want to see something that looks really pretty with like green, with like this green rust or whatever, take a look at like anything with a copper roof.
I've seen some Minecraft builds.
I'm in IRL. A couple of popular locations up here in Canada are the Parliament buildings over in Ottawa and the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec. And no, I am not exaggerating the accent there. I'm naturally good at like speaking French words in the proper way of speaking. Remember, Canada was found by the French first.
Bon, mon ami.
Still thinking about some of those times and a bit of early still thinking about like Canadian history. Still reminds me that one of my favorite stories I like to hear from World War One is basically how the Germans basically got respect for us. Have you heard of the Battle of Vimy Ridge in 1917?
I'm sure that I have, but regale me.
Basically, the Germans has a strong grip on this area in France called the Vimy Ridge. The French tried to kick them out, but they were so fortified and strong, they lost. So the French said, "Hey, England, could you give me a hand here?" England said, "Sure." Unfortunately, they did not succeed. Once again, the Germans were so heavily fortified. This was like the beginning of trench warfare, of course. And remember, Canada had just started becoming a country. This is 50 years into Confederation for Canada. So they decided to try a more interesting route by being a little more sneaky. So first they let off a lot of like lot of noise, basically, to distract the Germans, while a group in the Canadian 1st decided to sneak in by cutting the barbed wire and basically put the drop on the Germans, winning the ridge. And since then, the Germans called the Canadian 1st shock troopers. Of course, at first they didn't know that. At first they were like mistaken for the British because they were using the similar uniforms to the British. But of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Goes to heck, heck, one time I looked up who has the best military in the world, and it turns out Canada does, next to Israel. So yeah, a little bit of Canadian history for you there. How the Canadians won Vimy Ridge and got a really cool nickname out of it.
What's that?
Shock troopers, of course.
Shock troopers. Okay.
Yeah. That was, yeah, they won with like smarts and strategy rather than raw power. Okay, am I gonna get a ding? Yeesh. There we go. Ooh, that is bright. Alright, next. Amazing what I learned from like Hetalia fan artists and my history class. And who says anime can't be educational?
I mean, I gotta admit, back when I was in school, I ended up knowing a whole lot more than most of the kids in my class. Mainly because I actually watch television.
Yep, and most people say television can rot the brains back then.
Yeah, that's only because back then people who usually say that were in competition with television. They thought that it was just going to be some fad and that radio was going to stick around forever.
Yeah, no, apparently not.
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Pictures came and broke your heart.
Now, wasn't that actually the first music video ever posted on MTV?
Possibly. Not exactly sure.
Anyways, in other gaming news, the Overwatch 2 tournament scene is not exactly looking the best.
I wasn't aware that it was still going on.
Yeah. Yeah, Active Blizzard has been slowly killing it off. No surprise there. I mean, they weren't doing too hot with Overwatch 2 anyway. Not with all the bull hockey they've been pulling behind the scenes with it. I mean, trying to block the original roster behind a time wall? Really? You want to know how long you needed to play before you can get to the original roster when I first heard about it?
60 hours?
100.
100. Wow.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Well, it really just depends on your perspective, I should think. I mean, it certainly didn't, back in the day, it certainly didn't feel like I had 120 hours to spare on Doom Eternal, but, well, somehow it happened.
And even the... And then let's not forget, during the time of development, there was that lawsuit happening.
I think that basically with Blizzard, you might need to be a bit more specific.
California.
A little bit more than that.
The sexual harassment thing.
Well, that's basically like what I expected, but like I said, it's Blizzard. You're gonna have to be a bit more specific.
The reason went back into 2000 when someone finally said enough was enough and revealed all that was going on behind the scenes with how, basically how, like, frat boy like the whole thing was.
You see why I basically said the specifics, folks? Because they're basically up to their eyeballs and stuff like that.
Well, this is... That, I think it also caused someone to commit suicide.
Ew.
That one. That even caused Microsoft to, like, buy him.
So Microsoft has bought Blizzard, huh?
I think so. At least it's been talking about it for a while, but let's hope Microsoft finally gets their rears in gear.
Man, you're only at 34%. Let's hope Chaos gets in here soon.
Now, apparently the dog is being stubborn.
Is it because you're basically using like such a lower powered washer that basically...
Yeah, I can't change it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering why, because like usually between the two of you, it's you would think that basically like this would have been like done. So I'm basically thinking.
Well, we were going at a good clip until Haas had to go and take the dog out.
Yep.
There we go, finally. Ah. God, that's bright. So, yeah. We're not going to see too many Overwatch 2 tournaments anymore. Which, of course, I never had a real care for, but you never know. Which gets me all the more miffed because they had I think they had like a Kitsune themed character, I'm not sure. Or at least something to do with spirit foxes. I'm probably thinking of a different game, but yeah. Activision Blizzard has really been going down the drain with the quality of their games recently.
I mean, I basically have never been all that much a fan of them anyway. They're the ones that basically created World of Warcraft and basically destroyed my brother's mind.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Toys for Bob is also part of Activision, and And they did the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro re-releases.
Yeah, they're okay.
But now they're stuck doing Call of Duty.
Oh man. How many more good men are going to be sent to the COD mines? Hashtag free Raven.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Seriously, it can't always be Call of Duty. Give them a chance to do other games, Activision.
Or better yet, just friggin' let id Software buy Raven Software so that they can get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm gonna have to play one of these days, because I've had that game for years now, and I still haven't even friggin' put it on my PC yet.
What game?
It's Heretic. Nope. Yeah, it's Heretic.
I'm back.
Hey,
Welcome
back!
Grab your PowerWash and get to work.
Yep. This is taking quite a bit.
Yep. Honestly, makes me wish that you could break out a scrub brush.
Yeah, or give
Doesn't
us
help.
access to our stronger power washers.
Yeah, because I noticed that. Feels weird for having it limit at you, so for what is a bonus.
Yep.
Starting to think the subway might have been the faster mission.
Yeah. But then again, you also had... But then again... other things were happening in the background with everything else, too. There we go. This Urban X skin that I just put on now reminds me of a Super Nintendo gun controller. I think that was the idea for this particular color scheme. Okay, just to make things quicker. There we go. There, now it's looking a little better. Now to get the top of these walls too. Gonna take care of the top parts there, Chaos?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
Actually,
these
you know
lower
what?
areas all set, so...
Alrighty, despite my initial thought, I couldn't indeed parkour up here. Woohoo!
Hey!
I always feel sad when I have to use the ladder.
Yeah.
Although I'm not fighting monsters, I'm still the high-flying jester.
Yeah. Oh boy. And this weekend's gonna be fun! anyone in the gaming community, because if anyone in the layer had noticed, I made a little announcement that FanFest is happening this weekend. And I double checked the streaming schedule. It's going to be on Friday and Saturday. So thinking that with of course the Pathfinder, with possibly a Pathfinder break in between, depending on what's going on, planning on doing a Final Fantasy 14 like little reaction stream viewing party sort of thing on my channel. Oh, don't mind saying that I'm struggling to find the right motivation to come to work. Okay.
Yeah, that's a relatable topic.
But if I knew I was coming to a brand new deluxe Marble Keeper's Lodge, and I possibly even the finest on this side of Detergento. Oh my god. Well, at least now we know the name of the country.
Or state.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe county.
Bless you.
Or territory.
Okay. Bless
or
you.
giant flying turtle.
Okay, that's done. That's done. Just double checking the pillars.
Got it.
Okay.
I'm cleaning up the king.
Nice.
Man, King Gnome. It's got me thinking of Return to Oz.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Man, how could you have not seen it? Everybody basically talks about how nightmare fuel it is.
Then again,
That's
I think
probably why.
Well, yeah. Not a big fan of friendly childhood things turn nightmare fuel.
It's basically it's meant to be kind of like a sequel to the original Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy is back in Kansas with her family. The problem is she's basically so convinced that everything that happened in Oz was real that Auntie Em and Uncle Henry have had her committed.
Wow.
Yep. And she basically is being subjected to electroshock therapy in order to cure her of her delusions.
What?
Yep.
Wow, no wonder why it turned... Wow. That's gotta be a crazy extreme.
Yep. But she does end up managing to escape the asylum and basically, goes on the run. Her companion this time isn't Toto, it's actually a chicken.
A chicken.
Yep, a chicken. I can't remember what the chicken's name is, but the point is, she does eventually end up back in Oz, but it's definitely not the place that she remembers leaving it, because apparently someone else has taken over and turned everyone in the Emerald City into stone statues.
Wow.
Yep. It's all got to do with the main villain of the movie, a guy by the name of the Gnome King. And basically, like in the original movie, he's basically the Ozian counterpart of the psychiatrist who prescribed Dorothy electroshock therapy in the first place.
Lovely.
So in a way, it's kind of metaphorical. He's trying to destroy Oz in her mind while also trying to actually destroy Oz. And the reason why he's so powerful is because he has the ruby slippers.
I don't know why I thought I was gonna say he's so powerful because he can control the weather.
No, he
He's
could
stored.
just turn
He fires
people
lightning bolts that turn people into stone. Oh my god.
How the heck did he get the ruby slippers anyway?
Well, I honestly have no idea. Movie is very vague on that, because the last thing that we saw of them, Dorothy was using them to go home. You would assume that basically, Eh, who even knows with Oz? Did she just teleport out of them when she basically went back home?
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like... Oh my god, Dorothy, don't!
I honestly think that the real scary thing about the Gnome King is that when we first meet him, he starts out as a live-action human actor who's playing the Gnome King, just basically covered in a whole bunch of makeup and prosthetics, but as the movie goes on and he gradually loses more and more of his power, he starts basically turning into a claymation-made monstrosity.
Oh god.
I don't know about you guys, because I personally am a fan of stop motion, but I honestly know that claymation can honestly be some of the most terrifying things you have ever seen.
Oh yeah. But it can also be pretty cool and fun to look at. I mean, look at Wallace and Gromit.
Exactly. Although I admit that when I was a kid, I was actually kind of afraid of Wallace and Gromit. I just have one memory of Wallace and Gromit. It's like a moment right before the end credit scene of one of the movies that they did, and it just basically features a robotic pair of pants walking down the street towards the sunset. That's the only thing I ever knew about Wallace and Gromit until Curse of the Were-Rabbit came out. And yet, here I am. Nowadays, I usually end up quoting Wallace and Gromit. Well, won't you come in? We were just about to have some cheese. Seriously, that's such a relatable thing.
Yep.
Gromit, let's go somewhere where there's cheese.
Yeah, he does seem to have a very big thing for cheese.
I feel sorry for the people who are lactose intolerant, because that's basically them being deprived of one of life's greatest joys, cheese.
Yeah. Well, unless you get lactose-free cheese, but of course that stuff can be pretty expensive. You should know, we get it often because my one of my sisters is lactose intolerant.
Ooh. How's it taste?
No different from normal cheese. Yeah. You can't really tell the difference by taste.
I bet I could tell the difference.
I bet I'd be able to tell the difference too.
Mainly because for whatever reason, since my taste senses are so exact, I can tell the difference between the same product being cooked from two different stoves.
Wow.
And it's literally just a can of SpaghettiOs.
SpaghettiOs.
Oh man.
Yeah, I used to eat that a lot back in the day.
Oh man, I mean, up here in Canada, we even take it one step further with Alphagetti and Zoodles.
Alphagetti. So that's basically like alphabet spaghetti.
Yep, basically like SpaghettiOs, but with all the letters of the alphabet. Okay, now where is that spot? I hate it when this happens. Oh, it's this little crevice here. It's probably the other crevice too.
You know, going back to the Mortal Kombat game real quick, you want to know something I find funny?
What?
The whole plot of 11 could have easily just been beaten by Kronika if she did one thing.
And what's that?
She didn't run away?
No. Just don't mess with the heroes. Most of the plot happens because she decided to get reinforcements for her plan, which ticked the heroes off that she was doing some shenanigans.
Like,
it would have been it would have been one thing if it was a natural result of her shenanigans, so it was going to happen anyway. But no, she deliberately went out of her way to just yoink people through time to assist her in her plan of resetting the timeline.
Like, wasn't basically like the basis of her plan was that she was trying to manipulate the heroes into recovering her crown for her?
No, because the crown was guarded by her goons and it could have easily been grabbed by anyone. Even then, she would just need to get one person to grab it. And she technically already had that one person sitting in the form of Frost.
Dang.
Yeah. That's the thing I find probably the most funny. Because had she not tried to fangle up with time, Dark Raiden would be there instead of the normal Raiden, and Dark Raiden is, to be frank, kind of a prick.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Revenant Jade could have been used to try to manipulate Kotal into assisting Kronika, as opposed to having regular Jade be around to control his anger or whatnot. Not sure how well the success would have happened, considering the two never interact, but would have been something. Probably the funny thing about the whole shoehorned love interest is that there's no comments from the other Jade.
I hate shoehorn love interests.
Let's see. Liu Kang and let's see, going back to the whole what if she didn't do that. The only allied forces she really loses is Shao Kahn's forces. But even then, they don't really do much other than try to deal with Outworld. Which ultimately, thanks to the same thing that brought Child's forces there, ended up with Outworld being completely against them. Maybe even more so than before.
I said it already, the Mortal Kombat world is weird.
Yep.
And the whole thing going back to Dark Raiden, like, Kronika just literally couldn't leave well enough alone because Dark Raiden killed her son Shinnok.
Yep.
Or Cassie did, but Dark Raiden basically had his head for a trophy.
Yeah. I always found that a bit funny because, like, Kronika, dearie, you're the Titan of time. You probably know the future. You know this act upsets you. Why didn't you try to stop it? Or hell, even just reverse it or whatever. If you're able to erase Raiden, then by bringing back a version of him from the past, why not do the same with Shinnok? Bring a past version of him back to the present. Couldn't even need to be all that long ago, too. Just bring back a version of Shinnok before he got decapitated, free him with Geras' help, and there you go.
And then maybe tell him to avoid fighting either Cassie or Johnny Cage.
And just have Geras do that. We have not seen how Geras does against them. Granted, I think the guy's main call to fame is I have died 1,000 deaths, and you cannot kill me. To which then I say, bruh, I play for honor. I've seen a man killed 1,000 times, and his name is Larry. You wanna know how intimidating Larry is?
No more intimidating than the next guy who buys you coffee.
Yeah, pretty much. They did a crossover with the Dead by Daylight, where he was temporarily killed by the Trapper via decapitation to be turned to an ornament in that game, but he's fine. Yeah, he doesn't die, but he's not all that effective at killing other people either. He's just a big punching bag.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of clever how Gyros is taken out. I cannot drown. Yes, but the sea of blood is bottomless, so you'll fall for eternity.
I'm curious how we're certain that it has no bottom.
Well, you want to go? You want to go in and find out?
No thanks.
Where does it go? Are there things down there? Is there like a Leviathan? Is it like the bloodstream of like the one being just like left off to the side?
Maybe it's actually all the collective blood from anyone who has ever died in this franchise.
Maybe.
Wouldn't be too surprised if that's the answer.
Come on, Gnome King. I've cleaned you plenty. See, just ping already. Ping, you stupid green bastard. Like the minor details as well. Let's see, what else is there? Ah, yes. If Chronica, again, didn't do that whole time merger thing, Sonya Blade would have been dead, and thus wouldn't be there to kill Kano. And honestly, you didn't even need to bring back Cyrek and Sector to make the Cyberlink Quay facility, because mainly because based off of the villain teleportation scene and whatnot, Chronica already cyberized Frost, and the facility ends up getting blown up shortly after it's discovered anyway, and they still have plenty of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So, does it feel like it was worth the investment of dragging those guys over from the timeline? Especially since Cyrax and Sector didn't even become playable. Like, granted, it's just their Triborg moveset from 10, but I don't think that's a valid excuse. Considering Tanya was also somewhat of a rushed-in character in 10, but they still made a DLC that had her in properly.
Mm-hmm.
Not the same moveset that they used in the story mode, granted, but that's fine. Let's see, what else would have been avoided if she just didn't manipulate time? Oh yeah. Fire God Liu Kang, the guy who made the new timeline, he never would have came to be, because part of the reason why the fusion ended up creating a good guy was because of the fact that past Liu Kang got added into the mix as well.
Wow.
Somehow. I feel like that should have been I feel like that should be backwards,
Mm-hmm. Can I say it
why
again?
How does Raiden fusing with somebody's future self cause the past self to be brought to a different place and turned into a god? But, oh well. Well, it was a pretty neat moment, so.
Of course, I really think that on some level, the makers over at NetherRealm Studios must have had a thought or come to some realization that they wrote themselves into a corner by basically making most of the main cast into Revenants in the first place, and they basically wanted to correct that as quick as possible.
Oh yeah, that was definitely part of the reason why they did things the way they did.
Development hack, don't you love it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's a shame too. I consider it also a shame too, considering that in the everything up till the Sindel massacre, I think had plenty of room for a very interesting way of taking the plot. Like we have Cyber Sub-Zero instead of Cyber Smoke. Have Smoke become the new Lingwei Master. Sure, whatnot. Not just one, granted. But I still think that would have been a very interesting little plot thing to go around.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, Smoke just ends up back where he started, and Sub-Zero just goes back to being human again before you know it. Not even getting killed as a robot. He just gets to go back to being a normal person.
Yep.
I'm a real boy.
Shrek 2.
There's also another little retcon thing about that too, in regards to the amulet that Raiden had.
Shinnok's amulet.
Not Shinnok's, Raiden's own amulet, the one he had throughout 9.
But I thought that was Shinnok's amulet. Raiden just took it for his own, and that's how he became Dark Raiden.
Nope. The one in 9 was something different.
Of course it is.
Yeah, because Quan Chi has Shinnok's amulet. Like, look at his base model in 9, you'll be able to see it. Which is why it's all the more funny, the fact that Raiden didn't interact with Quan Chi quite a few times and never realizes, wait a minute, why do you have Quan Chi? Why do you have Shinnok's amulet? But, yeah. Yeah, the little retcon or whatnot is that, the Kronika was the one that was, manipulating the timeline by having the crack show up in the amulet to manipulate Raiden into doing what he did in that game.
Wow! That's the stupidest and laziest bit of retcon I ever heard.
Yeah. Well, on one hand, it does explain why this power shows up, though it does beg the question of if Dark Raiden didn't have the power to send vision to his past self or whatever normally, how did he know to do this? Did he find out about Kronika and ask her, and Kronika was like, you know what, dude, like, the timeline would have been so much better if you just followed the script, but you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to be an absolute troll to you. And that's how it happened, or?
That's really why you can't necessarily introduce a character as powerful as Kronika so much later in the series, because it basically brings the previous games into question as, why did Kronika even allow this to happen? Seriously. If she basically didn't want them to win, why is it that they kept winning?
Yeah. Especially since, she also gives herself... going back to the whole time traveling thing, the fact that she brought back the... Is there a new thing, by the way? I hate to interrupt it.
Now I can't... Yeah, Park Warden's going about the plants. Now I couldn't help noticing that the fountain seems to be covered in luscious variety of moss, lichen, and algae. 3 of my favorite things to find on the wall. Naturally, moss sits on the throne, lichen second, algae third, although I do have time for algae. Earl does too. Sometimes Things I see him have a nibble as he passes the restrooms. Ew!
This guy is talking about lichen and moss.
Least favorite thing to find on a wall? Graffiti. Yeah, no surprise there. I think this was actually supposed to be done before we did the bathrooms.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. Another thing with the whole Revenant thing that I also realized, too, is that Chronica actually ended up giving her own allies that she had by default, the Revenants, a weakness. This in the form of their present counterparts. Because she can't have her... because they can't kill the... well, not present, the past counterparts. Because if they kill their past counterparts, apparently that messes up with time and will delete the older ones, because Quan Chi wouldn't be there to bring them back to life. Fun fact, Quan Chi was not a necromancer in the original timeline. That was more Shang Tsung's gimmick.
Wow.
Yeah.
I said it once, I said it twice, I'll say it again. Mortal Kombat World is weird. Like, crazy weird.
At least they look cool. I'm still looking forward to when they add a Scorpion to Mario Kart. I bet you thought I was gonna say Smash Brothers. So let's just think about it. He just throws a blue shell and he just says, "Get over here." It'll be funny.
Yep. Yeah, this is a little quicker. Dang, I love these little blue flower patterns on these walls. It reminds me of blue and white Dutch patterns on China.
Is it just me, or do they kind of look like they're shaped like bats?
From a distance they probably do, but up close you can see that they're like the fancy vine leaf sort of thing. Okay, this area is done and clean. Now for the other side. Dang, they make these things in really big sections. Very big, awkward sections.
It's why I'm starting to think the subway may have been quicker.
Yeah. Oh well, that's for next week. And I'm thinking maybe we should have like done the Mars rover one again so you could see everything.
That would have been nice.
Yeah. Oh well, c'est la vie. Live and learn.
One thing I actually find interesting, because there are, like, from arcade endings and whatnot, is, then stuff in the versus modes, is the implication that Kronika isn't just a, mustachely evil twirling villain, which is unfortunately as far as she is depicted in the story mode, that she does have a reason to be wanting to keep the balance between light and dark, and just, went insane from trying to set up an ideal timeline for everyone, but then people, I guess, defied the timeline. That's the one thing about the hourglass that is never really specified, but I guess it's to an understandable degree of how much control does it have over people and places and whatnot.
Who knows?
One thing I guess to talk about a little bit of media that I did end up liking, plot for, was Snowblind.
Snowblind?
Which is, yep, it's a movie about, it's a Mortal Kombat movie that takes place in a...
Oh yeah, Snowblind. Still haven't gotten around to watching that myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Mainly
it's
because
very,
Battle of the Realms really disappointed me.
Yeah. Yeah, it disappointed a lot of people. Thankfully, Snowblind is a lot better.
I
If
should
you don't
hope
trust,
so.
yeah, if you don't trust me on that, you can see that the people who said that the other stuff sucks say that it's good.
I hope so, because I don't really have all that much hopes for Cage Match.
Yeah. Because the main problem with Battle of the Realms, to talk about that movie real quick, is that it's centered around way too many characters and events going on.
It was basically 3 Mortal Kombat movies that were stapled into one. When quite frankly,
a Buster Cluck.
They could have basically gotten away with only being 2, but nope, they just had to go and milk it for all it's worth. And I mean, I honestly think that one of the things that frustrates me the most is that Scorpion's revenge, it's literally, Quan Chi's entire plan is that Shang Tsung has the key to Shinnok's prison. They literally say that throughout the movie, this is the key to Shinnok's prison. And Shang Tsung even says he's been in prison for a reason. And so that's basically what the entire thing was. At the end of the movie, Scorpion gets it and keeps it out of Quan Chi's hands because he kills Quan Chi. Then, in the sequel, the friggin' Battle of the Realms, Shinnok is already freed? Then what the heck was all that even for? Oh no, it turns out the key, the amulet, which is the key to Shinnok's prison, isn't the key to Shinnok's prison at all, it's just the key to the last Kami Dogu. And the Kami Dogu being one of the, how many is it, 7 or 9 of those things? Anyway,
1 per realm.
1 per realm, so 5. So, anyway, the Kami Dogu is one of the 5 pieces that the Great Being was split into. But at the same time, you've got all of that going on. You've also got the follow-up to the last Mortal Kombat tournament. And considering that Shao Kahn needed 10 victories so that Outworld could merge with Earthrealm, and he was literally about to have his 10th victory only for Scorpion to intervene and get the win for Liu Kang, basically saving Earthrealm. He's certainly not happy about it, so he's basically just invading Earthrealm by force. It really would have been nice if we saw the start of this story instead of getting thrown into the middle of it, seeing how Shang Tsung basically, how Shao Kahn started to invade Earthrealm. But nope. Instead, they basically are fighting this big, gigantic war, trying to basically stop Shao Kahn from invading, and then basically, Raiden gets Shao Kahn to agree to a kind of armistice where they're going to go consult with the Elder Gods, because that's Raiden's solution for everything. And Raiden basically proposes another Mortal Kombat tournament. And this one is for all the marbles. The last Mortal Kombat tournament to ever happen. If Shang Tsung wins, if Shao Kahn wins, Earth is as good as his. But if Earth Realm wins, then Outworld can never menace Earth Realm again. And the only way that they manage to, the Elder Gods agree to this, is by Raiden giving up his immortality so that he can compete in the tournament. So, instead of basically having a cool Thunder God on your side, you're basically got this normal guy who might know Kung Fu.
Wow.
Yep. So you've got this movie really should have been about that tournament, because you basically are introducing so many characters. You're introducing Stryker. You're introducing Kung Lao. You're bringing in Jax. Yeah, Jax was in Scorpion's Revenge, but all he did was get his arms ripped off. Now he's got his mechanical arms and he's fighting Kintaro. That was a pretty cool scene. But on the other side, you're also bringing in Devora. You're bringing in the Purple Lady. You're bringing in so many other characters, and they just don't really get their chance to really shine because of everything that's overshadowed. And at the same time, over in the Shinnok and Scorpion Kamidogu plot, Scorpion, he survived what happened to the destruction of Shang Tsung's island, and somehow the key, the Shinnok's amulet key, has somehow fused with his spirit, meaning that he is now the key to the last Kamidogu, and so that's why Shinnok is sending his demons after him to capture him. But at the same time, you've also got the Lin Kuei, the ice cryomancer ninja guys and whatnot. And in the last movie, Scorpion basically killed their leader, Bihan, who was the original Sub-Zero. Now his younger brother, hey Chaos, what's the younger brother's name?
Kuai Liang.
Kuai Liang. He is now the new Sub-Zero and wants to go after Scorpion for revenge. At the same time, the Grand Master of the entire Lin Kuei has decided that the Lin Kuei need to evolve into the next level. So, cyborgs. We're going to basically turn you all into cyber ninjas. And that's
what
where
I
the
drew there pretty much explains my feelings for this.
Exactly.
It was a clustercluck.
The Cyber Initiative. They're trying to shove too many things in there all at once, when each of these things could have made their own, the plot of their own movies. And of course, you got that nice thing, the scenes with the friendship of Kuai Liang and Smoke. You've also got Cyrax and Sector, but of course, when they find out about the Cyber Initiative, Cyrax and Sector are all for it, Kuai Liang and Smoke are not. And then Smoke gives Kuai Liang a chance to run for it, and he ends up getting cyberized himself. And then from that moment on, Kuai Liang is hunting down Scorpion to try and get revenge. Scorpion is trying to stay one step ahead of both Shinnok, who is now secretly in control of the Cyber Lin Kuei, who are sending them after him to get the Kamidogu, because the Grand Master is apparently an idiot. And it basically eventually becomes the whole bromance thing with between the two of them, with Kuai Liang learning to trust him, because, let's face it, even though he killed your older brother, he was really trying to kill Quan Chi.
He may have been trying to kill your older brother, but let's be honest, Kuai Liang, your brother was kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he really was. And he's such an asshole that when he comes back from the dead, he changes his name to Noob. I mean, what kind of an asshole does that?
Noob. Well,
Noob
hey,
Saibot.
I like to imagine that somebody. I like to imagine that Bihan just had like alternate personality disorder, and when he died and became a wraith, it just manifested in like Noob and the shadow self he has that's called Saibot.
Yep. Anyway, so let's basically like get to talking about like the climax, because I'm pretty sure that during the tournament, Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn and Raiden end up fighting each other, and I think that Raiden does get killed, but it's somewhat up in the air. And then I think Katana, she ends up she's no, wait. I think she was fighting Raiden, and she was, like, about to finish the job, only for her to turn around and attack Shao Kahn, trying to end the tournament by killing him and becoming the new ruler of Outworld and declaring peace between Outworld and Earthrealm. But unfortunately, you should have gone for the head. Anyway.
Unfortunately, the power of strong, independent woman is not enough for an actually
immortal, superpowered warlord.
Superpowered bad, yeah.
But luckily for her, her spine seems to be made out of rubber because the animators do some really weird contortions with her spine after he hits her. Anyway.
You must have learned from Samus.
So anyway, Liu Kang ends up fighting Shang Tsung, and Shang Tsung ends up corrupting Liu Kang's arm with some kind of, I don't know, some kind of necromancy or poison that basically locks up his arm and prevents him from fighting. And what do you know? His next opponent is Shao Kahn himself. So Liu Kang is literally going up against the final boss with just one arm. And it seems to be going the way you expect it to, until, of course, the Deus Ex Machina happens. Liu Kang goes all Super Saiyan. He basically becomes Fire God Liu Kang. He breaks free of Shang Tsung's evil magic spell, and pretty much just curb stomps Shao Kahn into the ground. You would think that this would be a good place for the movie to end, and then basically make way for the third movie where they could resolve everything else.
No, they decide to add that into the movie.
They keep going, because apparently the plot with Shinnok is that they end up getting the last Kami Dogu. The Grand Elder of the Lin Kuei realizes, oh crap, I've been working with the God of Death this entire time. Oops, my bad. And basically Shinnok, he releases the One Being and allows him to reincarnate himself in his body. So now Shinnok is basically becoming the new One Being, and all 5 of the realms are starting to merge into one. So, message.
Yeah. Parkworn says, I gotta say, that is one heck of a fountain. Looks like that Keeper's Lodge idea is dead in the water. Oh well.
Told ya.
Say, what do you think the square footage of this thing is once filled? No idea.
I'd say maybe about 9,000 gallons.
I might be getting my head. I might be getting myself another little idea here. If you're trying to say a swimming pool.
I mean, why not? I mean, why can't park fountains be considered like little miniature wading pools? I mean, people are throwing their change in there. Why not just let them get in there and cool off for a few minutes? But anyway, so all 5 realms are merging, so all the victors of Earthrealm and Fire God Liu Kang have to decide what they're going to do. And so I think the Elder Gods decide to basically power up Liu Kang, especially considering that the One Being that they're all afraid of is now kaiju-sized and free, and basically trying to merge all the realms together. So what ends up happening? They turn Liu Kang into a giant friggin' dragon. And we end up having a kaiju battle in the middle of our Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah. You would think that I'd be excited about this, but quite frankly, I think that we're just beyond the looking glass at this point.
In other words, you just want this movie to end already.
Kind of, yeah. Because all of this would have been so much better if it was given its own movie instead of being shoved in with everything else.
Yeah, it's kind of like how in Stormblood, we got Alamigo and stuff with Doma. Well, both things that, could have been really great separately, but end up being made lesser because they had to share the screen time with each other.
Mm-hmm. With Doma getting the bigger piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it kind of diminishes Shao Kahn in a lot of ways. The way that Scorpion's Revenge ended, it basically was setting up Shao Kahn to be the big bad of the next movie, and you couldn't wait to see him. And yet, in this movie, he basically has to compete for screen time between Shinnok, the God of Death, the Grand Master of the Lin Kuei, and the friggin' One Being. I mean, and Onaga isn't even present in any of this. Unfortunately, between the one being that may or may not have created the entire friggin' universe, Shao Kahn is gonna come up a bit short.
Yep. Yeah, thankfully Snowblind, to go back into that, since that's what I started off with, is a lot more,
Streamlined.
yeah, streamlined, a much smaller cast, and focuses on, like, one consistent plot. The bad guy from this guy that you from the beginning is the same bad guy at the end, and everyone gets their own moment to shine with their equally climactic battles, as well as stories beyond that as well for character growth. Like, we got Kenshi, the guy who starts off as a full of himself martial artist, who's just looking for a fight. Fun fact: his game counterpart becomes a blind swordsman, and the movie's called Snowblind. Would you like a guess as to what probably is going to end up happening to him at some point?
He's going to go blind.
Yep. The other character.
So I'm just basically trying to wrap my head around where Snowblind takes place. Does it take place in its own universe, or is it 20 years after the events of Battle of Realms, or maybe even 1,000 years? I don't know. Because I've seen the opening of Snowblind, and there's a statue of Fire God Liu Kang in some kind of feudalistic village. So I'm thinking, okay, Battle of the Realms must have happened, right?
Yeah. Long story short, so surprised at the time. It's already 4.
Yeah.
Yep, it's 4:12.
Yeah, this is taking a lot longer than I hoped. I'm sorry.
It would only take half an hour.
yeah.
Yeah, we should have stopped as soon as we were finished the Ferris wheel. Oh well.
Yeah. You thought this would be a lot smaller fountain for some reason.
I should have read the writing on the walls when it was 450.
And that we'd be stuck with a much weaker power washer.
I guess we were so used to the stronger one, we didn't think these bonus ones would go back to basics.
Yeah. I mean, heck, it didn't even dawn on me that these things had gotten so strong. I thought that the reason that you guys were breezing through these things lately is because you had Chaos helping you.
Well, that too, but I've also had stronger power washers.
Yeah. I effectively piggyback too, so thankfully as long as she has it, I have it too. Which normally works fine, not so here though. But yeah. To go without spoilers, there are some Easter eggs that tell you the general idea as to what happened, but to go over it will be massive spoilers. The one thing to note is that the mentor character for Kenshi, to get him all set and ready for the threat that they have to deal with. Yeah, it's Kuai Liang, who, unfortunately, he haven't had the best of times since you last saw him.
Oh, I'm assuming so.
And then, naturally, we have the Black Dragons plus Shang Tsung, led by, Cyborg, Kano.
Oh, cool, Kano's alive again. Because I gotta say, I kind of feel like I wouldn't necessarily say wasted, but even though this franchise is supposed to be about killing your opponents, I feel like maybe they get killed a bit too quickly.
Yeah. And from what I know, it's while some people don't like how he's randomly ginger, future, though it does become a key plot point later. You probably won't understand when I say it, but but if some moment you realize what I've said and why I mean it, it'll become apparent. Kano is seen as like one of the best incarnations of Kano, especially since it gives him a chance to shine as a proper villain in a world that is otherwise gone Mad Max. or Fallout. All thanks to a invasion of zombies that just tore the natural world asunder, and there's only one group that's in control of everything and will make sure that every other attempt of independence is crushed. That is the Black Dragon, led by Kano himself. With Shang Tsung being his visor, and totally has no grinding impact or greater ambitions than that. Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Shang Tsung has always been known for being a really loyal subordinate to bad guys.
He's a backstabber, I'm calling it.
Yes.
I mean, friggin' 2 movies ago, Kano was his subordinate. Or at least he was paying him.
Yeah. Yeah. So without going too much, I really do like how the Cyberize Kano fight. It just kind of makes me wish that there was actually more that rather than him getting to quote Sonic X DXD sexier with every game, he just got more mechanical every game instead.
Ah.
And that's the funny thing, is how he actually helps Kronika's forces with the Cyber Initiative. Yet the only cybernetic thing about him is his left eye, which, to be fair, is pretty advanced for what it does in 11. Even how he can look through trucks and scan things.
You are also a Terminator? The only thing cyber about me is the eye. A shame.
Yeah, that doesn't... Yeah, not so in Snowblind. He's completely cyberized.
Well, that's gonna be good for business, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever get the chance, I would recommend it.
Yeah, it's been on the back burner for a while now. A combination of having no time and depression has kept me from getting around to it.
Yeah. I think one thing I definitely like about it, that I know you definitely feel like, you know how the relationship with Luke Skywalker and Rey was? Or no, my bad, shit, I just realized there was no a friendship happening there. Remember the relationship between Jake Skywalker and Rey was?
Yes, but why are you assuming that I'm going to like that?
Well, you see, effectively it's garbage. But with Snowblind, which has a, somewhat similar roles, except, well, let's just say by the time Snow meets Blind, Blind is already blind. There's actual growth from the training that happens, and So
Kenji isn't just going to spend this entire movie training himself, is he?
No, and he'll actually have more meaningful moments with Kuai Liang to get him to do more than just make a hologram for him when the time eventually comes for the final battle.
You know, knowing Sub-Zero's moveset, he could technically do something like that, except more physical.
By the way, you want to know something cute about that? In the game of Injustice, LT?
What?
Sub-Zero can make ice clones with the ability to freeze the enemy for a few seconds.
Okay.
He has an option to replace it with ice penguins. Yep.
That's adorable.
Yep. Instant ice penguin.
Fingers are getting numb.
They're almost there, 89%.
Yep. You know, let's talk about like Mortal Kombat and gods or anything. I keep on being reminded of that one fighting game that my mom had to replace with Banjo-Kazooie.
And which fighting game was that?
I can't remember the name, but apparently Anubis was in it. It was for the N64.
Maybe it was Primal Rage. Or was that PlayStation?
I think that sounds more like a PlayStation game.
And what was it for?
It was Nintendo 64.
Oh. Anyway, sadly I have to go again, and this time I don't think I'll be able to make it back for the stream's end, so...
Yeah, no, I think...
Yeah.
You hear that, LT? He's leaving you to finish the job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry,
I
Gary.
hate to leave a job unfinished, but we'll have to continue this in the next week anyways, because we're shooting on like 4:30. We've been at this for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Alrighty, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, I'd like to thank Chaos for joining me with my mistake.
Yeah, that's fine. I hope we saved the progress.
Yeah, the progress will be saved.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Linkzilla for, once again, all of his pop culture knowledge, including that mess that is one of the Mortal Kombat movies.
Yep.
I'd like to thank all my viewers for all the for your patience with this, and if you guys like what you're seeing, you just like, subscribe, everything else, say hi, and yeah, next time we'll be finally finishing off this mess and starting on the subway. Yeah. Anyways, see everyone, and remember, the only real magic you have is your imagination and reading the writing on the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.